Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku become Lantern Hero Part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see Part 2, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content and leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. The author of the story 𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗃 from Wattpad. So let's start the video. When Izuku Yagi was 4 years old, he and his sister went to the quirk doctor to see what their quirks would be, because all they ever wanted was to be heroes. They would go on and on to each other or to their parents about how they wanted to be heroes to save people with a smile like All Might. But that all changes for Izuku when he was diagnosed as quirkless. After that, his family ignored him except for his aunts and uncles, but his parents did. It was either they ignored him or they came up with some bullshit reason like Izumi needs me or she's more important. Now you may think his childhood friends would be there to help him, right? Well, you would be somewhat right. His friends Katsuki, Shoto and Ida helped him patch himself up whenever their sisters and 𝗧𝗃𝗧𝗏 would beat the SHT out of him with their quirks. Now you may ask, why would they harm Izuku? Why not help him? After all, one of them is his sister while the others were his friends. You see, the reason why is because Izuku wanted to be the first quirkless hero and thought that sounded dumb and didn't want him to get hurt, and since them being children they thought it would be a good idea to scare him using their quirks to beat him. Now our story begins with an 8-year-old Izuku leaned up against a tree after the last beating, just trying to catch his breath. As he was doing that, the only people who knew this was going on, those being Katsuki, Shoto and Ida, came to him with a first aid kit to help tend to his wounds. "Here, Izuku brought you this and some food I got from the house," Katsuki said. "Thanks, Kaken, I appreciate it," Izuku said. "Here, let me help disinfect the wounds on you back," Shoto said. "I'll get your arms, just don't move around while we do this, you look to hurt to move," Ida said. As his friends were disinfecting his wounds, they struck up a conversation with him. "How come you never let us fight back against them?" Katsuki asked. "'Cause if you do, you'll only get in trouble for defending the quirkless kid. You know how the teachers are here," Izuku said. "And besides, if they won't even help me, what makes you think they'll take your side when you defend me? No, it'll just get you in trouble, and besides, I've made my decision, I'm running away today," Izuku said. "Are you sure? We know you heal crazy fast and all, but you're 8, you sure this is the best idea?" Shoto said. "Yeah, I can't stay there anymore, and I can't stay at your places either, 'cause they'd be able to find me easily, and right now I don't want to be found," Izuku said. "Well, if you ever need anything from us, don't be afraid to ask. We won't tell them we know you want to leave, but you better come back. We still gotta be heroes together," Shoto said. "That's right, my brother. When you get back, I want you to be faster than me," Ida said. Izuku chuckled before answering. "Yeah, you bet I will, Ida. Tell Tensei I said hi," Izuku said. "Alright, you should be good now, Izuku. Here, eat this, get your strength up before you leave," Katsuki said. "Thanks, I owe you guys a lot. When I come back, we're gonna be top heroes together," Izuku said. "Alright, well, we better get home, the sun is going down," Shoto said. "Alright, I'll see you too tomorrow, and Izuku, I'll see you in 10 years. "Alright, you better be strong by then," Katsuki said. "I'll go back so strong I'll beat you in a spar when I get back," Izumi said as Katsuki helped him up. And with that, everyone started to head home. As Izuku was walking home, he saw his sister and All Might walk into an alleyway, so he leaned up against the wall outside of the alleyway to hear their conversation. Little did he know this would further solidify his choice of running away. "So what is it you called me here for, Mr. All Might?" Izumi said. "Well, you see, Izumi, I'm actually your father," All Might said, going in his skinny form. "What? No way, really, Dad, you're All Might?" "Yes, and what I'm about to tell you, you must not tell anyone else, you got that?" All Might said sternly. "Okay, so what is it?" Izumi asked. And so Toshinori told Izumi the story of one for all and all for one, and how one for all can be passed down, yada yada. "You all know this 𝗧𝗃𝗧𝗏. Wait, if you have a quirk like this, when not give it to Izuku," Izumi said. "'Cause honestly, he doesn't have what it takes to be a hero. He gets scared easily and he's weak and timid. He's not pro-hero material," Toshinori said. "Huh, that's the way you want to play it? Well, this just further solidifies my decision to leave. Nice job, dumbass," Izuku thought to himself as he left his spot on the wall walking home. When Izuku arrived home, he saw his mother making dinner. Of course, none of it was for him. It was for his 𝗵𝗃𝗍 of a father and 𝗵𝗃𝗍 of a sister, and of course, she didn't pay him any mind, not even bothering to look at him. So Izuku walked upstairs and started packing all his stuff, or whatever was in his closet, which was very little, some mess stuff, and he stole some money from his parents' room. He'd pack the food later when everyone went to sleep, so now all he had to do was wait. After he finished packing, he heard the door open and his dad and Izumi came in. He heard them eat dinner, talk about their day, and what happened. Of course, Izumi left out the part where she beats the 𝗧𝗃 out of her brother. Then they watched some TV while Izumi did her homework. Then all of them went to bed. After he knew for certain they went to bed, he went downstairs, got dinner, ate said dinner, grabbed some food, and he finally went to the door. He opened the door and took one last look at his home, or was it, could he even call it, that he had no good memories past the age of 4 here, but a part of him still wished that this didn't happen, but it did. So with that last moment of hesitation out of the way, he shut the door and left the house. The next morning everyone in the Yagi household woke up, and since it was the weekend, Izumi didn't have school, so she went out to hang out with her friends while her dad did hero work while 𝗃𝗀𝗃 just stayed in the house. As she was in the house, she was cleaning when she discovered a photo album throughout the years with the family, and she started to look through it. But when she got past the twins' 4th birthday, she didn't see Izuku in the 5th birthday picture or for any pictures of him past the age of 4 for that matter. She then started to panic and went to Izuku's room and she knocked on the door. "Izuku, you in there, honey?" she said. No response. "Izuku, you in there?" she said, knocking on the door again. Again, no response. Now she was starting to worry. "Izuku, I'm coming in." "Okay," 𝗃𝗀𝗃 said, opening the door. When she opened the door, she smelt BLD and disinfect. She saw his trash can was littered with bloody bandages, his closet was empty, and his bed, if you could even call it that, was just a mattress on the floor. That was it. 𝗃𝗀𝗃 broke down crying, knowing that her neglect caused her son to run away, but that doesn't mean she wasn't gonna try and bring him back. So she called her husband and Izumi and told her to come home. When they got there, All Might called 𝗧𝗵𝗃 and 𝗵𝗃𝗃. They got there and went into Izuku's room, and what they saw horrified them. 𝗧𝗵𝗃 was beyond set at both of them. 𝗧𝗃𝗃 found a letter and GT was about to beat the 𝗧𝗃 out of 𝗵. 𝗧𝗵𝗃 read the letter and told them to call the 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗁s, Todoroki's, Ida's, and Uraraka's, and so they did. After about 30 minutes of awkward silence, the said families arrived and took their seats on the living room. "So why have you called us here, 𝗧𝗵𝗃, and where's Izuku?" 𝗬𝗫𝗫 asked. Immediately Ida, Katsuki, and Shoto knew what was going on but didn't say anything. "In my hands is a letter from Izuku. Shall I read it?" 𝗧𝗵𝗃 said. "Okay, but why would he leave a letter and not be here himself?" Mitsuki asked. "Well, let me just go ahead and read this then," 𝗧𝗵𝗃 said. "Dear Yagis, if you're reading this, then that means I've run away. I've had enough of the neglect from you too, and the neglect has gotten so bad to the point where I've had to learn to make my own food at the age of 4 and had to work odd jobs just to buy school supplies and tea to survive. Oh, and it gets better because your precious golden child and her friends Katsumishoka and Achako had been beating me every single day with their quirks for the past 4 years. The only people that were ever there for me was my aunts and uncles Katsuki, Shoto, and Ida. So 𝗧𝗵𝗃, if you're reading this, don't do 𝗧𝗃 to those 3 cause they stuck by me in my hour of need. Also, for some reason I can fly now and lift up heavy 𝗧𝗃 for some reason, don't know why anyway, with hate Izuku. So there you have. Now let's hear your opinions," 𝗧𝗵𝗃 said, sipping some tea. After hearing this, all the adults were said at the family and the girls. "Why the hell would you do that to my nephew?" 𝗧𝗃𝗃 yelled. "'Cause we didn't want him to be a hero, so we thought we used our quirks on him, he'd be scared and not want to be a hero," Izumi said. "That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard," 𝗧𝗃𝗃 yelled. "Look, we just wanted him to not get hurt, okay," Katsumi said. "So you decided to beat the hell out of him when he couldn't fight back. I'm ashamed to call you my sister," Katsuki said. After a while of everyone just laying into the idiots of people, 𝗧𝗵𝗃 decided to speak up. "When you come to teach it, you will not be paid. Your paycheck will be given to quirkless hospitals to help out there. You 4 girls will have your recommendations taken away and will be wearing anti-quirk bracelets until you go to take the 𝗬𝗃 entrance exam, and the only time you can use your quirks is only to train, and even then you need my permission. Also, when Izuku does come back, you will not bother him, and I will be taking him into my care. Am I clear?" 𝗧𝗵𝗃 said. "No, you can't take my baby boy away from me," 𝗃𝗀𝗃 said. "Listen here into and listen well, he will not be in your care, or do I need to release your neglect to the world and ruin your lives even more?" 𝗧𝗵𝗃 said. "No sir," 𝗃𝗀𝗃 said sadly. "Oh, and another thing, when you do train you will only train with GT, and he's not the nicest trainer," 𝗧𝗵𝗃 said. "Oh, and you 3 boys, thank you for looking after my nephew in his time of need," 𝗧𝗃𝗃 said. With that, everyone took their leave, leaving the Yagis crying over their mistakes. Now let's cut over to Izuku and see what's going on with him. We see him going through the woods on the outskirts of the city, but as he's walking 9 rings pop out in front of him, all saying the same things. 𝗧𝗵𝗃, we have deemed you worthy to wield us. Our power is now yours, the rings said. Okay, this is weird. Where did these rings come from? And 2, why did it say my last name was Grayson? Oh well, guess I should accept this power and use it to save people, Izuku thought. With that he accepted the rings, but something unexpected starting to happen as he went towards them. They all started to merge together, creating a blinding light, and when that light went away, all that was left was a green ring on the ground. Izuku went to pick it up, and he put it on his ring finger. After he did that, the ring spoke to him. Izuku Grayson, you are the first of the all Lantern Corps. Welcome. It had been 10 years since Izuku disappeared. 10 years since 9 rings came down to earth and called out to him to be their wielder, to which he accepted, and they all merged into one with green coming out on top. 10 years since his so-called family and friends regretted what they did to him. But now we don't have time to get into all the details of what they've been up to, because right now Class 1 has just arrived at the USJ for rescue training. Wow, this place is big, Kaminari said. Wait till you see the inside, Shoto said. You've been here before, bro, Kaminari asked. Yeah, my dad took Bakugo Ida and I here a couple of times to train, Shoto said. Why'd he only take the guys? Kirishima asked. Guys trip, and we don't exactly have the best relationship with our siblings and their friends, Shoto said. Demon, sorry to hear that, to do, bro, Kirishima said. Alright, everyone shut up and head inside, Aizawa said. Aizawa looked at the USJ with a sad look in his eye and then looked back towards his class. You should also be here, Izuku. If only I paid more attention I could have seen the signs, Aizawa thought. Hey Aizawa, you coming? Midnight asked. Yeah, I'm coming, Aizawa said. Bury these thoughts for now, you gotta focus right now, Aizawa thought as he headed inside. Aizawa got inside right when 13 had finished her speech about the dangers quirk can have if not used properly or misused. 13, where's All Might? Aizawa asked. He went over his limit doing hero work today, 13 said as she held up the number 3 on her fingers. Honestly, that man is the best example of stupidity, Aizawa said. And Aizawa turned around to address the students on what they would be doing. Alright, so you'll be broken up into groups of 2 and sent across the USJ. Now there will be multiple teams per area, so your job is to work with said groups in the exercises, 13 said. But right after she finished, the light started to flicker and a portal opened up in the middle of the USJ and villains started to walk out of it. Oh cool, you even have fake villains, to Kirishima said. Aizawa looked towards the plaza, fear evident on his face as his eyes widened. Those aren't fake villains, they're real. Midnight's 13 protect the students, Aizawa said as he put his goggles on and jumped down the stairs to start fighting. Ida, they're jamming communications. I need you to run to you, and get help. Don't argue, just go, Midnight said. Yes ma'am, Ida said as he started running to the door. I'm afraid I can't let you do that, a man made of purple mist said. Hey, leave him alone, you Bakugo shouted as he and Shoto charged at the villain. Wait, don't, 13 shouted. But it was too late, because at that time the mist man had scattered everyone around the USJ, but there was some light in that situation. Sure, everyone was separated, but cause of that distraction Ida was able to get away to go get help. Aizawa was down in the plaza fighting villains left and right, using his quirk to disable the ones he looked at so he could have a fighting chance against hundreds of people. But as he was fighting, he noticed a man with blue hair next to a mutated bird creature just standing there. So I guess that's the boss then, Aizawa thought. So you can cancel quirks, can you? How troublesome, Shigaraki thought. After another 5 minutes of fighting, Aizawa was getting tired, but he had beaten all of the villains in the plaza except the blue-haired man and the bird. He also noticed that the mist man from earlier was back. I wonder where he went, Aizawa thought. Ah, you're so cool, Eraserhead, but this is the end of the line, Shigaraki said. Oh yeah, and why is that, Aizawa said. Because we are the League of Villains and we're here to kill All Might, Shigaraki said. What, that can't be right, you're not strong enough to kill All Might, Aizawa said. Oh, I never said I was gonna kill him, also you should keep a better eye on things, Shigaraki said. It was at that moment that Aizawa noticed that the bird was gone. Where'd it go, Aizawa thought as a giant shadow looked over him. Aizawa was too slow to react as his head was slammed into the ground multiple times, making him dazed. While he was unfocused, when all of a sudden he felt an immense pain in his arm. He looked over to see his arm and saw the skin of his arm disintegrate, going on to show the muscle. Hurts, doesn't it? Why don't you go ahead and scream, Shigaraki said as he nodded to the Nomu who broke Aizawa's arm. "Nomo, I don't want to play with him anymore, throw him towards the kids, give them a little scare," 𝗧𝗵𝗃 said. The Nomo followed its command and threw Aizawa back up toward the students. It was at this time most of the students had gotten back to the stairs to see 13 and 𝗵𝗃 on the ground unconscious. They heard a loud thud and saw Aizawa on the ground heavily injured, and it was at this moment they began to lose hope. But just before they reached into despair, the door flew open, revealing All Might, and he was not smiling. "So, I hear that you want to kill me and tried to harm my students to draw me out. You're gonna pay," All Might said. Yes, the final boss Nomu kill him," Shigaraki said. And so the battle of the Nomu and All Might now began, trading blow after blow of their hardest hits, but All Might noticed that the Nomu seemingly had no damage. You're probably wondering why the Nomu looks fine. You see, the Nomu has instant regeneration and shock absorption, so there's no way you'll kill it. That's why it's called the anti-symbol of peace, Shigaraki said. So it doesn't have shock nullification, so it has a limit, and I will push past that limit, All Might said as he started to pick up the speed of his punches. As they continued to trade blow after blow, All Might saw he was beginning to wear down the Nomu, but as he went in for the final strike, the Nomu dodged suddenly and sent All Might back towards the students. The students, seeing this once again, started to fill with despair as the Nomu jumped on top of All Might and was about to deliver the finishing blow. But before he could, the door came flying off the hinges and hit the Nomu off, sending him flying back down towards the stairs. "What the hell was that?" Shigaraki asked. "What just happened to the door?" Katsumi asked. "I don't know, but be ready for anything," Izumi said. As the students look towards the door, they see a man around their age with green hair and freckles on his cheeks shaped like diamonds. He wore simple clothes, a black t-shirt and matching black shorts with sunglasses over his eyes, and he was lazily holding a cigarette in his mouth, and he looked bored. "Not only are you a failure as a father but a teacher too. Good job, but might." "Izuku?" Shoka asked. "How great you four are here," Izuku said. "Izuku, where have you been?" Ochako asked. "None of you business now. If you'll excuse me, I'll be right back," Izuku said as he walked towards the stairs. "Wait, Izuku, don't go, you'll get hurt," Izumi said. "You listen to your sister, come back here, you'll get killed down there," Katsumi said. "Shut up," Izuku said as he kept walking. "Son," All Might said. "Shut up and rest, old man, you useless enough already, I don't need you getting in my way," Izuku said. "Where the hell have you been, problem child?" Aizawa asked. Izuku crouched down next to Aizawa, taking the cigarette out of his mouth. "I'll tell you later, get some rest, you hobo," Izuku said with a smirk. Izuku turned around and looked at the class. "You with the lightning bolt in his hair?" "Me?" Kamanri asked, confused. "Yeah, hold these," Izuku said as he tossed his sunglasses at him. Kamanri catches the sunglasses, fumbling a little bit, but he got them. "Now all of you stay up here and don't get involved, you'll only get yourselves killed," Izuku said as he walked down the stairs. Well, if it isn't Shigaraki, now what did I tell you about misbehaving? It's bad for your health," Izuku said as he dodged a punch from the Nomu by simply moving his head backwards. He turned towards the Nomu and spoke to it. "Hey, the adults are talking, F off," Izuku said as a green light went around the Nomu. "Now to make sure you listen, we'll just send you away," Izuku said, throwing the Nomu out of the USJ. Shigaraki was frozen in fear. Here was his Nomu, the thing meant to kill All Might, was taken out so easily, and by a child at that. Kurogiri immediately teleported Shigaraki away, escaping the USJ. "Well, that's gonna be a pain in the butt later," Izuku said as he started walking back up the stairs. Before he got up the stairs, he took the cigarette out of his mouth and flicked it away. He reached the top of the stairs and saw the people he wanted to see. "I swear to God I can't leave you dumbasses alone for more than 10 minutes before you do something dumb," Izuku said. Both Shoto and Katsuki turn around and see their friend who they haven't seen for 10 years. "I think your sense of time is messed up, cause it's been 10 years, not minutes," Shoto said. 10 minutes, 10 years, who really cares? All I know now is that you're too stupid to be left alone. Where's Ida, by the way?" Izuku said. "Oh, he went to go get the teachers from Yuye as backup, but since you showed up, guess they're not needed anymore," Katsuki said. "No need to fear, class, for you class representative has arrived with reinforcements," Ida said. "It's all good, you knock off Sonic, I took care of it," Izuku said. "Do my eyes deceive me? Is it really you, Izuku?" Ida said. "Yup, in the flesh, but we're gonna have to catch up later," Izuku said. "Why is that?" Ida asked. "'Cause of them," Izuku said, pointing towards his so-called family. "Izuku, my baby boy, is that really you?" Inko said. "You lost the privilege to call me that a long time ago," Izuku said. Son, I'm sorry for what we did, please come home, All Might said, being supported by Izumi. Please big brother come home so we can be a family again, Izumi said. Shut up, you're so annoying, Izuku said. Hey, don't talk to them like that, All Might said. Or what, you gonna ground me? You can't do 𝗧𝗃𝗧 to me, I'm an adult, so you can't tell me what to do, Izuku said. Izuku, why are you acting like this? Shoka asked. God damn, all of you are stupid. It's honestly surprising that 𝗧𝗍𝗧 let you in for what you did, and on top of that you lack the common sense as to why I'm like this, Izuku asked. Hey, don't talk to her like that, Katsumi said. Or what, you gonna use me as your punching bag, you egotistical bitch, Izuku said. After hearing that, Katsumi started to cry. Oh, did I hurt your feeling, boo-hoo? Oh, shut the F up and grow up, stop acting like a kid, Izuku said. Why are you so mean, Izuku? Ochako asked. Why are you so useless? The only thing you can do is make things float, but if you do it too long you get a tummy ache and throw up. Honestly, it's a surprise that any of you are here. Most of you were too scared to move and fight. Honestly, I'm surrounded by weaklings, Izuku said. A loud smack was heard throughout the USJ as everyone went quiet. What they had just saw was Inko slapping Izuku. You need to mind your manners, young man, Inko said. Oh, so that's how we're playing it, alright, Izuku said as he pegged back his fist and punched Inko right in the nose, breaking it. Izuku, Izumi shouted. Shut up and be lucky. I have orders not to kill any of you, but I was told if you attacked me I could fight back. I'm not the useless Deku anymore, I'm more powerful than you will ever become, Izuku said. Now Izuku, that's enough, settle down now, 𝗧𝗍𝗧 said. Got it, rat man, Izuku said, sticking his thumb up. Well, it's nice to see you got here quick. Let me guess, you were in Poland, 𝗧𝗍𝗧 asked. Close, I was Germany getting a beer, that's why it took me a while, Izuku said. But you're too young to drink, Izumi said. God, you're honestly so dumb. It's a different country with different laws, so you know what that means, right? Dumb, Izuku said. Izumi shook her head while starting to cry. Honestly, 𝗧𝗍𝗧, it surprises me you let them in you. In the first place, Izuku said. Well, they'll be useful sooner or later, 𝗧𝗧𝗧 said. Wait, 𝗧𝗧𝗧, you mean to tell me you knew where my son was this whole time? All Might said. Well, I knew he was alive and well, and he gave me his number so we could catch up and to use in emergencies like this, 𝗧𝗧𝗧 said, neither conforming nor denying. So you mean he came back to the country? Why didn't you tell us? Katsumi asked. Simple, you didn't deserve to know, Izuku said. Anyway, Izuku, do you accept the offer? 𝗧𝗧𝗧 asked. Sure, why not? Teaching this lot is gonna be a pain in the butt, but since when have I never had those? Izuku said. Excellent, I'll make the preparations. See you in a week, 𝗧𝗧𝗧 said. Oh yeah, before I leave, here you go, you three, got you some souvenirs, Izuku said. Each of the boys looked at their hands and saw what Izuku got them. For Katsuki, he got him a gun that shot explosive bullets. For Shoto, he got him an ice ray. For Ida, he just got him a rock. Why did I get a rock? Ida asked. Bruh, he got you a fing rock. No way, Katsuki said, laughing. Shoto didn't say anything cause he was laughing too hard. I don't get why you two are laughing. That rock's from Mars, so it's worth more than what I gave you, Izuku said. How the F did you get a rock from Mars? Both Shoto and Katsuki shouted. I went to space. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later, bye, Izuku said as he flew out of the building. Whoops, hey Pikachu, give me my sunglasses back, Izuku said. Here you go, man, thanks for the save, 𝗵𝗃 said. No problem, it's what a hero does, Izuku said as he left for real this time. After the whole USJ incident, Izuku had flown to U8 to wait for 𝗧𝗍𝗧 in his office. After waiting for about 30 minutes, the door to 𝗧𝗧𝗧's office slid open and the rat man walked in. Sup, Izuku said. 𝗧𝗧𝗧 jumped, nearly spilling his coffee, then turned to Izuku with an agitated look on his face. How many times have I told you to stop doing that? 𝗧𝗧𝗧 said. A lot, but do I listen? No, Izuku said with a grin. Well, what is it you need? 𝗧𝗧𝗧 said. Just to set some terms and conditions for when I teach here, Izuku said. I had a feeling you would want some of those. I was quite surprised when you didn't say any of them at the USJ, 𝗧𝗧𝗧 said. Well, there's a time and place for everything, and that wasn't the right time or place, Izuku said. So what are your conditions? 𝗧𝗧𝗧 asked. Well, first I want those BSTRDS to stay away from me. Second, I want my own dorm room so I can keep an eye on all of them. Third, if there's a big emergency, I can leave class to go fight it no matter where it is. And lastly, I want to be able to wear my normal clothes and not my hero suit, Izuku said. Why don't you want to wear your hero suit? 𝗧𝗧𝗧 asked. Cause it's skin tight and it is CKs, that's why I normally wear what I'm wearing now under it, Izuku said. Very well, those terms are agreeable, but how will you know when an emergency arises? 𝗧𝗧𝗧 asked. The ring will tell me, Izuku said as he showed 𝗫𝗬𝗓 the ring. It's been a while since I've seen a power ring, 𝗫𝗬𝗓 said. Why am I not surprised you know what this is, Izuku deadpanned. Trust me, Izuku, I know a lot of things, even some things you don't, 𝗫𝗬𝗓 said. Yeah, and that's what scares me, cause knowing you'll just blackmail the government to keep the school open, Izuku said. 𝗫𝗬𝗓 doesn't say anything and just looks at Izuku with wide eyes. Oh Jesus Christ, 𝗫𝗬𝗓, I was joking, calm down, Izuku said. Oh, good, thought you were serious there for a second, 𝗫𝗬𝗓 said. Starting to wonder if I should have been, Izuku thought. Well, I best be off, see ya, 𝗫𝗬𝗓, Izuku said. Wait, Izuku, 𝗫𝗬𝗓 called out. Yeah, Izuku said as he turned around. Go visit Aizawa in RG office before you leave. He's awake now, but he thought you being at the USJ was a dream, 𝗫𝗬𝗓 said. Got it, gonna go give the hobo a scare, Izuku said with a smirk. Izuku left the office and started walking down towards RG office. As he was walking down, he passed a girl with light blue hair and a curious look on her face. When he passed her, the girl turned around to look at him again. No, that can't be Izuku, he's been gone for 10 years, then again it's been 10 years, so that could be him, she thought. Nice to see you came here, 𝗫𝗓𝗓, Izuku thought with a smirk. After that was done, Izuku made it to RG office and stood outside the door. Well, this can go one of two ways. I get the 𝗧𝗓𝗃 knocked out of me, or I get we missed you so much and the 𝗧𝗃 knocked out of me. I'm starting to regret this, Izuku thought. Izuku opened the door, walked in, and shut it, but what he saw kinda caught him off guard. He saw Midnight sitting next to Aizawa nursing him back to health while Aizawa acted like he didn't care. So how long has this been going on for, Izuku said, stifling a laugh. Both turned their heads to see who it is, and who they saw shocked them. So it wasn't a dream, Aizawa said. Sup, Izuku said, waving. When he said that, Midnight looked, said. You've been missing for 10 years, you finally come back and all you say is sup, Midnight said, mocking him. Well, what am I supposed to say? Oh hey, it's been 10 years, don't mind me showing up saving your buttes, Izuku snapped back. Well, tell us where you've been, what you've been up to, Midnight said with her arms crossed. Well, I've been all around the world for one, and I've pretty much just been saving people all the time, helping out where I can, Izuku said. When you say all around the world, does that mean everywhere, Aizawa asked. Yup, every country that exists right now, Izuku said. Jesus, kid, you must have one hell of a bill, Aizawa said. Oh, that's the funny thing is that I never took a plane, I just flew there in my own, Izuku said. There's no way you can fly, Midnight said. Yeah, I can watch, Izuku said as he started floating off the ground. Not gonna tell thee about the part where I went to space to fight a war, Izuku thought. Wait, so when did you get a quirk, Aizawa asked. I didn't, I'm still quirkless, 𝗧𝗃𝗃 said. Then how are you doing that then, Midnight asked. Easy with this ring, Izuku said as he showed them the ring. Not gonna tell them about the part where I'm not exactly human yet, Izuku thought. Well, I just came by to tell you that you didn't dream it, I'm back, oh, and I'm your assistant teacher, Izuku said with a grin. Great, now you're even more of a problem child, Aizawa said. I'm not gonna be able to get rid of that, am I, Izuku said. No way in hell, Aizawa said. So, Izuku, are you gonna be okay, where are you staying, Midnight asked. Izuku let out an awkward laugh while rubbing the back of his head. Well, you see, since they're building my dorm room, I don't have a place to stay, Izuku said. Oh, well, you can come stay with us for the time being, Midnight said. You sure I don't wanna impose, Izuku said. Nonsense, you're going and that's final, Midnight said. I'm not getting a choice in this, am I, Izuku asked. Nope, Aizawa said. Well, I better leave before they show up for him, Izuku said, pointing towards him. Just as he said that, the door flew open, revealing the people he didn't want to see. God damn it, speak of bad timing, Izuku said. Izuku, you're coming home right now so we can be a family again, Inko said. Midnight, do me a favor and open the window for me, please, Izuku asked. Midnight, knowing what he was gonna do, opened the window. How many times do I have to tell you to F off or do? You want to break another limb, possibly your golden child who you spoil and is weak compared to most of the class, Izuku said. How is she weak, Katsumi shouted. Because all she does is rely on her quirk, same as you, and someone could easily beat the both of you with their hands alone. That includes quirkless people too, Izuku said. When you get a quirk, Shota asked. Izuku walked over to the open window and hopped on the ledge. Hey Izumi, this remind you of anything, Izuku said. No, why would it, Izumi asked. I'm surprised you forgot. If I remember correctly, you said that if I wanted a quirk, I should take a swam dive off a roof and pray for one in my next life, Izuku said as he jumped out the window. Izuku, Inko shouted as she ran towards the window. But when she looked down she didn't see a body or any BLD for that matter. Haha, oh holy 𝗧𝗵𝗲, that was funny, you should see your face, Izuku said while laughing. Why would you do something like that to your own mother, 𝗵𝗃𝗀 asked. You haven't been a mother to me for years, and also I found out a little secret that you should hear, Izuku said as he got closer. He got up right next to her ear and whispered. I know I am not my dad and that you hid me away from my actual father, Izuku whispered. After he said that he flew away to go on patrol and do what he loved, saving people. 𝗵𝗃𝗀 stood there shocked and too scared to move. Mom, what's wrong? Izumi asked. 𝗵𝗃𝗀 snapped out of her trance and answered. Nothing, Izumi, it's nothing, she said as she took a place by AM's side. Well, we'll be off now, Midnight said with venom in her voice, not wanting to be in the same room as them. See you at home and next week, problem child, Aizawa thought. A week had passed since Izuku had accepted the offer Nizu had given him. That offer was for him to be a teaching assistant at UA to help kids be better heroes and get them ready for the real world. Like Aizawa, but more fun, and what better way to show you're a fun teacher than by being late to the class you're supposed to teach? That goddamn problem child, first day and he's late, Aizawa thought. Mr. Aizawa, you said we were gonna have a new teacher, where are they? Ida asked. Well, he's running late right now, let's give him a couple more minutes before we start, Aizawa said. After about 15 minutes of the class just talking amongst themselves, Aizawa got their attention. Alright, it seemed like he won't be here for a while, so we're gonna go ahead and begin today, Aizawa said. But right after he said that, the door swung open revealing Izuku. Oh, there you are, and why are you late? Aizawa asked. Cause I'm in a big building and some but didn't tell me where his room is, Izuku said. The class were trying their hardest not to laugh, some succeeding while most failed. See what you caused, problem child, Aizawa said. Well, if you told me where your room was we wouldn't have this problem, Izuku snapped back. Whatever, quiet down class, Aizawa said as he activated his quirk. Seeing this, the class immediately shut up and paid attention. Alright, now this is my new teaching assistant, he's gonna help you out on a bunch of stuff that I don't want to do now, go up and introduce yourself, Aizawa said. Izuku walked up to the front of the classroom and got ready to introduce himself. Wait, you're the guy that saved us at the 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗁 said. Right, you are Pikachu, Izuku said with finger guns pointed at 𝗵𝗃𝗁. Alright, sup, name's Izuku, no last name, so just call me Izuku. Things I like are helping people and working out, Izuku said. Manly, Kirishima thought. The stuff I dislike is my old life except for a few things, oh, and people who rely too much on their quirk that'll get you killed, believe me, I've seen it happen before, Izuku said, his tone changing completely. The class got scared at what he said. Now, I didn't mean to scare you with that, but yes, my job here is to teach you all not to rely so much on your quirks, how to fight without them, and how to use your brain to use them more efficiently, Izuku said. Now, any questions? He asked carefreely. The class calmed down with his change of tone, went back to happy and carefree as many of them raised their hands. You in the back with the ponytail, he said. And the massive rack, he thought. What's your quirk? Does it have something to do with that green stuff that came out of your hand? And my name is Momo, she said. Well, Momo, that's the thing, I'm quirkless, Izuku said. Hearing this, the class was shocked that not only was he quirkless, but he was able to take a something able to kill all might easily. Not gonna tell them the part where I'm not exactly human, Izuku thought. What, how are you quirkless? You beat that thing meant to kill all might so easily, Kirishima said. Oh, well, the thing is I have this, Izuku said, showing his power ring. What is that? Katsuki asked. This is a power ring which allows me to make a light construct of anything I can think of, pretty much my imagination is the limit, Izuku said. Really, prove it, Katsumi said smugly. Alright, I'm about to make a suit of armor, watch, Izuku said. As he said that, the ring started to glow and a green light came out of it, forming armor around him just like he said. Wow, that's so cool, so like you said, you imagination is the limit, 𝗵𝗃𝗁 asked. Yeah, pretty much, if I can think of it, I can make it, Izuku said. Now, any more question? Izuku asked, noticing that multiple hands went down after Momo's question. You with the bird head, Izuku said. Yeah, my name is Tokoyami and I wanted to ask how old are you, he asked. Oh, same age as you guys, just with a hell of a lot more experience than any of you will ever have, Izuku said. Oh, and what makes you say that? Sato asked. 'Cause he's saved people in every country and fought a war in space, Aizawa said, getting out of his sleeping bag. How the hell did you know that I never told you, Izuku said. Nizu, Aizawa said as he smirked. That DMN rat, how'd he find out, Izuku thought. Anyways, he's right, he has more experience than even me because I've only helped in Japan and 2 I haven't been to space, Izawa said. Hearing this, the class had even more question like what was space like? How do other countries look, or how were they like? Izuku answered all of these and then some, but this one pink-skinned student named Mina would not shut up. Okay, Mina, love the questions, I really do, but Izawa has to get class taken care of, Izuku said. Thanks for that, Izuku. Anyway, now then, your fight is not over, Izawa said, pausing for dramatic effect. Jesus Christ, if he teaches his class like this, then I really do need to be the cool teacher, Izuku thought. Is it more villains, Mina said. If there is, I'm gonna kick there, but Katsuki said. No, the sports festival is coming up, so you'll have the next 2 weeks off to train, Izawa said. Oh great, normal school stuff, the class said. Now class is dismissed for the next 2 weeks, head back to the dorms and start training, Izawa said. With that, class 1 was packing up to head out, but as Izuku was about to leave, he heard a voice he didn't want to hear. Izuku, what were you thinking going into space to fight a war that's dangerous, Shoka said. That's funny coming from you, now mind your own demon business and go train, cause I'm not helping any of you, Izuku said. Well, why not, that's your job, Ochako said. Because you 4 don't deserve my help, I don't care if die in the field, it'll just be one less annoyance to me, Izuku said coldly. Alright, I want the guys to put their stuff away and meet me at training field Gamma. The girls will meet me about 4 hours later, also at training field Gamma, except for you 4, Izuku said, pointing towards his past. Why not them, Momo asked. Ask them about her brother when you get back to the dorms, and they better not tell any lies, Izuku said. Now you know what to do, get to it, Izuku said. After that, the guys ran off toward the dorms while the girls just walked, since their training wasn't for another 4 hours. As Izuku and the boys walked into Gym Gamma, he used his power ring to make a boxing ring. Teach, why'd you make a boxing ring, 𝗵𝗃 asked. Cause here's what's gonna happen, I'm gonna set you guys up for boxing matches while we make bets on who's gonna win. Oh, and no using quirks, Izuku said. How is this supposed to help us, Ida asked. Glad you asked. You see, while the boxing matches happen, this will teach you how to fight without your quirk, as well as teaching you some hand-to-hand combat and entertainment as well, Izuku said. You just want to watch us beat the SHT out of each other, don't you, Katsuki said. Don't forget the betting part, but I'm serious, this will help you in the long run with pain tolerance and knowing how to fight without your quirk, Izuku said. Yeah, but there's one problem, those 2, Shoto said, pointing towards Sato and Shoji. Simple solution, they'll fight each other, Izuku said while pulling a flask out of nowhere. Where did you get that, Ida asked. Don't worry about that, and if anyone asks, it's water, Izuku said. Nodding in agreement and totally not fear, cause this guy is leagues above them in every aspect. They all got ready. Alright, let me just make some boxing gloves and we'll get this show on the road, Izuku said. Alright, first match is Sato versus Shoji, let's get the big guys out of the way. Sato no sugar and Shoji only used 2 arms, Izuku said, handing them their gloves. Both of them put on their gloves and got in the ring ready to fight. Teach, who's gonna be the ref, 𝗵𝗃 asked. Well, since you volunteered, it'll be you, Izuku said. Wait, me, 𝗵𝗃 asked. Yup, now get in there, I want to see some clean fights, Izuku said. 𝗵𝗃 climbed into the ring and got ready to ref a bunch of fights. Now the rules are no below the belt shots. If the ref says stop, you stop, and whatever happens in the ring stays in the ring, don't want any petty SHT, now fight, Izuku said. As so, Sato and Shoji started the first round while a short 𝗵𝗃 tried to ref but was terrified the entire time. Alright, now time for bets, place them on who you think is gonna win, Izuku said as he made a box for the money. I got $50 on Shoji, Shoto said. I got 20 on Shoji, Ojiro said. I got 60 on Sato, Katsuki said. I have 10 on Sato, Ida said. Wow, what a PP, only putting in $10, Izuku said. I have 15 on Sato, Tokoyami said. I have 25 on Shoji, Shinso said. 𝗵𝗃, what's your bet, Izuku shouted. Put me down $10 for both, he said, not wanting to hurt anyone's feelings. I got 20 on both, Kirishima said. You all put 50 on Shoji, Koda said nervously. Hey, no need to be nervous, my guy, we're all friends here, Izuku said. Okay, Koda said. Alright, I got $20 in both of them, Siro said. Alright, betting is now CL. Problem child, what are you doing, Izawa asked. Boxing and betting for hand-to-hand combat, wanna place a bet down, Izuku asked. Who's fighting, Izawa asked. Everyone, but right now it's Shoji versus Sato, Izuku answered. 200 of Sato, Izawa said. Oh holy, you can be cool in the case I have 200 on shoji, Izuku said. What the hell is going on, 𝗵𝗃𝗃 asked. Nothing, now do your job as ref or your but is with me in remedial lessons, Izawa spat. Alright, let's get this show on the road, Izuku said, taking a sip from his flask. Problem child, what's in there, Izawa asked. Water, Izuku said as he took another sip. Doesn't smell like water, Izawa said. It's a new type of water that has a smell to it, Izuku said. You're such a liar, Izawa said. You want a sip, Izuku offered. Sure, why not, it's been a stressful few weeks, Izawa said as he took a sip. Alright ladies and gentlemen, 𝗵𝗃𝗃 started. There's only guys here, dumbass Katsuki said. Alright gentlemen, are you ready to watch the long-awaited boxing match between 6-arm Shoji in the right corner? At Shoji's name the people who bet on him began to cheer. In the left corner we have Sugarman Sato. At Sato's name the people who bet for him began to cheer. Now let's get ready to rumble, 𝗵𝗃𝗃 said as the bell dinged. Hey Izuku, did you make safety equipment, Izawa asked. 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗃 is gonna be, said Izuku said, as he watched Sato and Shoji going at each other. Shoji went for a right hook which was blocked by Sato, so he countered with an uppercut which hit Shoji, dazing him a bit as Sato went to town on him, having to get separated by the ref. Round 1 was Sato's win. The second round started much the same, except this time Shoji feinted with the right hook and went with an uppercut with his left, then a jab to the face, which resulted in Sato being dazed and Shoji going to town, being separated by the ref. Round 2 was Shoji. The third and final round would be a tiebreaker between the two, and whoever won this won some money. The round started off slow with jabs here and there, but then it started going towards Sato's favor, and when all looked lost, Shoji got a second wind and dominated the ring with Sato in a non-gay way, sending him into a TKO. The room was filled with cheers as the people who bet on Shoji won, and they all turned to see Izuku making fun of Izawa. Haha, pay up hobo, my guy kicked your guys, but Izuku said. Yeah, shut up problem child, Izawa said, handing over the money. Alright, now I'm gonna divide up this money evenly, but most of it's going to Shoji cause fu, that's why, Izuku said. As Izuku handed out the money, he gave the most to Shoji like he said, but also made sure everyone got their fair share and started the other matches after more betting, of course. After the 4 hours were done, the girls came in, but just some happened to come in when it was Shoto versus Katsuki. So Izawa, who do you think is gonna win, Izuku asked. No clue, it's anyone's game, Izawa said. What's going on, Momo asked. OSHT, has it been 4 hours already, Izuku asked. Yeah, and is that a boxing ring, Momo asked. Shoto Katsuki, another time it's the girls' turn, Izuku said. Oh man, right when the fight was about to get good, Kirishima said. Yeah, we have next time, now come get your money back, Izuku said. Wait, you were betting, is that even allowed, Mina asked. Probably not, but Nizu doesn't care what I do, Izuku said, counting his money. Alright guys, head out, shower, get something to eat, and relax, we're training again tomorrow, Izuku said to the guys as they were leaving. So what do you have in plan for us, Momo asked. Alright, with you guys it's gonna be working on stamina, so you're gonna do a lot of running to build it up, Izuku said. Why aren't we boxing, Jiro asked. Yeah, are you not letting us box cause we're girls, Toru asked. No, it's cause you're boxing tomorrow and they're doing running. I don't want to do the same SHT that I've already watched for 4 hours, so we're running, but don't worry, I'll be right there with you guys, Izuku said. Wait, why didn't you box with them then, Sue asked. Cause they would have lost and I wouldn't have a scratch on me, Izuku said. What, no way you're lying, Toru said. Momo, what's something you can make quickly that can leave a mark if it hits something, Izuku asked. A gun, Momo said. Make one real quick, Izuku said. Are you sure, she asked. Positive, he said with a smile, sticking his thumb up. After a couple of seconds, Momo had made a gun and handed it to Izuku. Thanks, now look closely, Izuku said as he shot himself. Oh my god, Izuku, Izumi shouted. Why are you here? I said you weren't supposed to be here, he said. Well, Dad said I should come anyway, Izumi said. Well, you go back and tell him that this is my class, not his, and that he can F off and die in a hole for all I care, Izuku said. When he said that, Izumi ran out of the gym crying as all the other girls glared at him. I recommend you wipe those glares off your face if you don't know my relationship with her, Izuku said, turning around. Immediately all the girls did as he said. So what was that about, Jiro asked. So I'm guessing she didn't tell you what happened then, Izuku said. All the girls shook their head no. Izuku sighed as he said he'd tell them another time and to just get running. After about 4 hours of running, he sent the girls back while he cleared the gym of the 53 flasks he had in a pile in the corner. After he cleaned those up, he started walking to the dorms to shower and eat. As he was walking, he saw the same girl with light blue hair and a curious face as she was heading back to her dorms after her work study. She was tired, of course, being an intern hero all day takes its toll, but she immediately woke up a little bit when she saw Izuku. He walked past her and she turned around to look at him again before gathering the courage to say his name, not knowing if it was him or not. "Izuku?" she asked. Izuku smirked and turned around, the smirk still on his face. "Kept you waiting, huh?" Izuku asked. After hearing him respond to her, she immediately ran towards him and, "Kept you waiting, huh?" Izuku said with a smirk. 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏, having now confirmed that this is Izuku, started to run towards him. She's about to slap the 𝗧𝗍 out of me, pretend it hurts, Izuku thought. As 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 finally got up to him, she didn't hug him, she slapped him. "Alright, I deserved that," Izuku said. She slapped him again. "Alright, I deserved that too," he said. She then went to knee him in the groin, but he stopped her. "Whoa, whoa, whoa, no, not there," Izuku said as he stopped her. After he did that, he noticed she started to cry. "Where were you?" she choked out as she hugged him. Izuku hesitated to hug her back. He put his hands up to do it. They shook for a second, hesitating, then he put them back down, not hugging her back. "I'm sorry, I just had to get away when you'd move back," Izuku said. 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 noticed that he didn't hug her back, had a good idea as to why but didn't push it, answered him. "I moved back about 5 years ago," 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said. "And when did you find out I was gone?" Izuku asked. "The first day of school when I saw Bakugo, Todoroki and Ida without you, so I asked, and they said you ran away," 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said. "Sorry about that, but it was either I stayed there and be abused every day or leave and live on my own," Izuku said. "So what have you been up to in these last 10 years?" she asked. "Nothing pretty happened in those 10 years, 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏, but it was better than being at that place," he said sadly. 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏, hearing his tone of voice, knowing he wasn't ready to talk about it, let the subject go. "What about you? What have you been up to?" Izuku asked. "Well, when we moved back and I found out you were gone, I started training really hard and now I'm one of the strongest here," 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said. "Oh, really? Congratulations, 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏. I knew you would do something like that," Izuku said. "Yeah, now I can protect you," 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said. Izuku, hearing that, just laughed and 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 got confused and mad. "Hey, what's so funny? You think I can't protect you?" 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 pouted. "No, it's not that, it's just I can take care of myself. I'm actually here as an assistant teacher," Izuku said. "Wait, you're an assistant, but how?" 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 asked. "'Cause if this is," Izuku said, showing his power ring. "What is that?" 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 asked. "This is a power ring. It can make light constructs out of anything I can think of," Izuku said. "Really, that's so cool. What else can it do? How far is the distance? Can you make absolutely anything? Oh, can it change colors? Wait, can it make you fly?" 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 asked, going into question mode. "Okay, 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏, one question at a time, but pretty much if I can think of it I can make it, and yes I can fly, and yes it can change colors. Distance, I don't know," Izuku said. "Ooh, how can it change colors? Can you make it change colors right now?" she asked with stars in her eyes. "I'll answer that another time. Right now you should get back to your dorms. You look tired," Izuku said, dodging the question. "Oh yeah, you're right," she said with a yawn as she fell toward with Izuku catching her. "What class are you in? I'll walk you back," Izuku said. "Class 3, she mumbled as she fell asleep. "Well, off to the 3 I go then," Izuku said as he picked her up bridal style. He walked for about 5 minutes before he reached 3A's dorm and knocked out the front door. The door opened, revealing a man with a cartoonish face greeting him. Hello, my name's Mirio. Why do you have 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 in your arms?" he questioned. "She's an old friend, we were catching up. She fell asleep, but before she did she told me this was her dorm, so I brought her here," Izuku answered. "And you didn't do anything to her?" Mirio asked. "No, I would never do something like that," Izuku said. "Alright, well, thanks for bringing her back. I'll take it from here," Mirio said as he took 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 out of Izuku's arms. With that, the door shut and Izuku started heading back to his dorm, wondering if he would be able to get some sleep tonight. As he got to his dorm, he opened his door and saw that his mom was there. "Great, this is gonna be a pain in the butt," he thought. "Why are you out so late, young man?" 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said. "None of your business, now move, I'm hungry," Izuku said as he walked towards the kitchen. "It is my business, I'm your mother," 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said. "No, you're not, now go home, you're not a hero, you're just a housewife," Izuku said. About that, there's something I need to tell you," 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said. "What, 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏? Look, I just wanna eat something," Izuku said. 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 was shocked when he called her by her name but shook it off as she told him what she wanted to. "I'm not a housewife, I'm actually a pro hero as well," she said. Great, just when things couldn't have gotten more annoying, but then again that explains why you were at the USJ, Izuku said with a bored tone. You're not surprised, she asked. No, I just don't care, Izuku said. But it's a dangerous job, aren't you worried about your mother, she said. One, you're not my mother, the only relation we have is by BLD, and if I could get rid of it, I would too. Your job isn't that dangerous, just show off a flashy quirk, beat the villain, hip hip hooray, you did a good job, that's your profession, Izuku said. And just how would you know what's dangerous and what's not, 𝗵𝗃 said. Well, I got abused by my sister and her RETD friends. I ran away from home when I was 8 and have been fighting in wars ever since I was 10, so I think I know what's dangerous and what's not, Izuku said. What do you mean you fought in wars? What's the matter with you, 𝗵𝗃 said. None of you business, I've already said enough now. Since you're annoying me, I'm just gonna go eat out, Izuku said as he walked towards the door. Now wait a minute, we're not done here, get back here right now, 𝗵𝗃 said. Izuku didn't listen and just walked out the door and flew away, heading towards a fast food place or a ramen stand, whichever one he decided to choose. 𝗵𝗃 just fell to the floor and started crying that her son hates her and that she'll never get him back, but she refuses to stop trying. As he was flying, he was in a bad mood but calmed down when he saw a ramen stand, so he went down to it and ordered pork ramen and waited until he heard a voice call out to him. Never expected to find you here, the voice said. What is it you want, Dad? Izuku said with venom in his voice. 2 weeks has passed since Izuku has started training class 1A. Well, except for his tormentors, which he refused to help, and since 𝗍𝗓 doesn't care what he does, the 4 girls went untaught but Izuku. That didn't mean they didn't train, they did, but not on the level Izuku did with his students. During all of this, his tormentors have been trying to talk to him, but he just ignored them, even slamming the door in Izumi's face when she knocked on his door trying to talk to him. Now we're at the day of the sports festival. We see Izuku and Class 1 in the locker room getting ready while Izuku is about to leave cause he can't participate. Alright, gather around, everyone, Izuku said. All of Class 1A gathered around Izuku to hear what he had to say. Now I've been training you guys for this moment, now go out there and show them what you're made of, Izuku said as Class 1A cheered. Big brother, what words of encouragement do you have for me? Izumi said. Lose, Izuku said coldly as he walked away to the teacher's section. As Izuku was walking, his ring spoke to him. Izuku, be on your guard, something bad is coming, the ring said to him. Got it, I'll alert 𝗍𝗓, Izuku said. After his conversation with the ring, Izuku heard Present Mike over the loudspeaker. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Present Mix, and I'll be your host as well as my good friend 𝗧𝗏, Mike shouted. I hate you, you're noisy, 𝗧𝗏 said. You're so mean. Anyway, coming into the stadium, the class that survived a villain attack, it's Class 1A, Mike said. Class 1A walked out to the whole stadium cheering for them, and some of them felt overwhelmed. Oh, I don't think I can do this, 𝗵𝗃 said. Hey, remember what Teach told us, we gotta show them what we're made of, Kirishima said. Yeah, you're right, I'm ready, I can do this, 𝗵𝗃 said. Attaboy, you can do this, Kirishima said. And then we have Class 1B, 1C, 1D, 1F, and 1G, let's hear a round of applause for them as well, Mike said. The audience cheered, but a lot quieter this time, making all the other classes feel bad about themselves. Until when all the clapping quieted down, they heard one guy cheering from the teacher's box. Oh hell yeah, let's go, the other classes, who, Izuku shouted. Hearing this raised the other classes' spirits up, hearing someone believe in them. Thanks for that, Izuku. Now I'll introduce the game 𝗧𝗏𝗵𝗏, Mike said. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm your game 𝗧𝗏𝗏 for today's games, and the way they'll be decided is by spinning this wheel, 𝗏𝗏 said. Is she allowed to wear that, Kirishima asked. I don't think she is, 𝗫𝗏 said. Hey, I'm not complaining, 𝗵𝗃 said. She does, no kids watch this right, 𝗃𝗏 said. But first the class representative Katsuki Bakugo is gonna give a few words of encouragement, 𝗏𝗏 said. Bakugo walked up to the podium and grabbed the mic, which 𝗏𝗏 handed to him, and spoke. I just want to say I'm gonna win, but still do your best, he said as he handed the mic back to 𝗏𝗏 and walked down the stairs. Most of the students booed him while Izuku was trying not to laugh his butt off. Alright, that was interesting, now on to the first match, 𝗏𝗏 said as she spun the wheel. The spun and it landed on an obstacle race. Alright, rules are simple. The first 42 that make it to the finish line advance to the next round. Those who don't, we have remedial games afterwards, and no killing or seriously injuring somebody, 𝗏𝗏 said as everyone lined up. 𝗍𝗓, we need to talk, Izuku said, leaning towards 𝗍𝗓's ear. About what, he whispered. The ring talked to me, told me to be on my guard and that something was coming. How's the security here, Izuku asked. It's pretty good we have 5 times the normal security that we usually do because of the villain attack, 𝗫𝗠𝗧 said. Good, because if it comes here, use them to get everyone out. I'll take care of it, Izuku said as he leaned back into his seat. 𝗫𝗠𝗧 just nodded his head as the obstacle race finished with Shoto in first place thanks to his ice. Now that the first 42 contestants have made it, let's move on to the next round, Midnight said as she spun the shell again, this time landing on Cavalry Battle. It's getting closer, the ring said to Izuku. In the crowd, a man in a hoodie is seen watching the games with a sinister smile on his face. Time skip to after the Cavalry Battle cause that 𝗧𝗧𝗃 is boring. Now that the Cavalry Battle is over, let's take a break for lunch as the final contests will now fight in the finals, Midnight said. Izuku leaned towards 𝗫𝗠𝗧 again and whispered in his ear. It's here, get ready, don't know when it'll strike but have the heroes on high alert, but don't make it obvious, don't want to cause a panic, Izuku said. 𝗫𝗠𝗧 once again shook his head and sent out an alert to all pro-hero to put their guard up. Izuku walked down towards the cafeteria to talk to his friends. Kaken, Shoto, Ida, come here a sec, Izuku called out to them. All 3 of them followed him to a spot near the entrance of the arena that was deserted. Alright, good job you 3, you're doing good so far, you really have improved, Izuku said. Yeah, but we'll never get to your level of skill, Katsuki said. Alright, well that's all I wanted to say to you, good luck in the finals, Izuku said as he walked away. He's up to something, Shoto said. Oh yeah, both boys agreed. Now welcome to the first match of the final game. Our contestants are Katsuki Bakugo and Ibara Shiozaki, Midnight said. Are both contestants ready, Midnight asked. Both of them nodded yes towards her. Begin, Midnight said as she cracked her WHP. But before they could start, an loud boom and smoke was seen inside the stadium. 𝗫𝗠𝗧 now, Izuku shouted as 𝗫𝗠� gave the order to evacuate. Katsuki, Ibara, 𝗬𝗪𝗀 and Midnight looked into the crater as the smoke hadn't cleared yet. When all of a sudden a man in a hoodie came into view. Who are you? Identity yourself, 𝗬𝗪𝗀 said. But he never got an answer as the man lifted up his hand and sent 𝗬𝗪𝗀 flying back, causing him to slam into a wall, knocking him unconscious. 𝗬𝗪𝗀, Midnight yelled at the same thing happened to her. He then aimed towards Ibara and fired, but before it hit her, Katsuki tackled her out the way with both of them avoiding the blast. Katsuki shot forward towards the man, dodging blast after blast of air sent towards him. He got right up to the man and went to blow him up. But the man dodged and punched Katsuki in the stomach with the force of a semi-truck, sending him flying back. Katsuki struggles to stand up, ready to fight as long as needed to let people evacuate, but right when he was about to attack again, he felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned around and saw it was Izuku smiling at him. Good job, but I'll take it from here, can't have a student showing up his teacher, can we? He said as he walked towards the villain. Katsuki immediately fell backwards but was caught by vines from Ibara before he hit the ground. Izuku turned towards Ibara and smiled at her. Take care of him for me, this shouldn't take too long, he said as he turned back towards the villain. Ibara did as she was told and left the arena with while also picking up the 2 teacher, leaving Izuku and the man alone in the arena. Now then, where were you? Here to cause more destruction, Izuku said. The man said nothing, it charged forward trying to hit Izuku with his wind, which Izuku just dodged easily. The man, seeing this, became enraged as he went to punch Izuku, but he simply sidestepped him again to the point where the man was screaming out in rage. You know, I thought you'd be tougher, but in all honesty you're weak, Izuku said. The man, hearing Izuku's taunting, became even more enraged, swinging at Izuku again and again, still not hitting him. Izuku, getting bored of this, dodged the man and kicked the back of his knee, making the man fall to all fours while Izuku sat on him, striking a thinking man pose. The man tried to electrocute Izuku off of him, but he just jumped away before he could. So you have 3 quirks, interesting, but I'm bored now, time to end this, Izuku said as he punched the man square in the face, sending him flying into the wall, knocking the man out. Well, that was no fun, Izuku said, walking towards the man. While he was walking, the man woke up and ripped himself out of the wall, opening his hoodie, showing he had a bomb attached to him, and he spoke for the first time. This baby has as much power as a nuclear bomb, and you can't disarm it, the man said as he pressed the detonator. Izuku, not wasting a second, flew over to the man, grabbing him and flying high up in the sky to keep the people safe. Wait, Izuku shouted as she saw him fly up in the sky with the man. Haha, looks like we'll both die now, he said. No, just you, Izuku said coldly. Then the bomb went off, covering the sky in an orange hue as Izuku is seen flying back towards Earth unscathed. He landed in the stadium as 𝗵𝗃 ran towards him. "My baby boy, are you alright? How did you survive that?" "Shut up, you're annoying," Izuku said as he walked away. He left 𝗵𝗃 there crying, but he didn't care. He had more important matters to worry about as he headed towards RG office. He walked in and saw Katsuki covered in bandages, looking like 𝗧𝗵𝗲 but awake. "You look like a mummy," Izuku said. "Shut up anyway, nice save with the bomb," Katsuki said. "You saw that?" Izuku asked. "Yeah, remember news crews are here, dumbass," Katsuki said. "Oh, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 they are. Anyway, how are you feeling?" Izuku asked. "Like I got him by a semi," Katsuki said. "Yeah, you probably have a couple of broken ribs, so you're gonna rest till RG heals you, then after that you're gonna take another week off," Izuku said. "Fine, but that's gonna suck. I'm gonna fall behind everyone," Katsuki said. "Nah, you'll be fine because everyone is getting the week off to rest. I was gonna do it as a surprise after the sports festival, but since that's cancelled, might as well just tell them," Izuku said. "Alright, what's for class for the next week?" Katsuki asked. "Can't tell ya that now, see ya," Izuku said. Izuku walked out of RG office and headed towards Nizu's and knocked on the door. He waited until he heard a come in and walked in. When he got there, he saw Nizu, All Might, and 𝗵𝗃. "Well, that's one way to end a festival," Izuku said. "You said the ring knew it was coming. How so?" Nizu asked. "Don't know how it does it, but it always know when something bad is gonna happen, so I listen to it and get ready," Izuku said. "I see. Well, it's a good thing you were here, or else that could have been worse." "The what happened?" Nizu said. "Well, I think it was just to probe and see how we'd react. We haven't seen the end of this by a long shot," Izuku said. "Can you tell us anything about what happened?" Nizu asked. "Well, he was crazy, had a bomb that had the power of a nuke and had multiple quirks." "Sound familiar?" All Might, Izuku said. "Then that means AM," said shocked. "He's back and he's being bold this time. He wants us to be scared. He's leading us into a trap by having us look for him," Izuku said. "So what do you suggest we do?" Nizu asked. "Easy, I spring the trap," Izuku said. "What? No, you can't. He's too dangerous. Only I can beat him," AM said. "No, you can't. You're too weak. I'll take care of it," Izuku said. "You do care," 𝗵𝗃 said. "No, I don't. He's the symbol of peace. He needs to keep the mantle as long as possible, or else all hell will break loose," Izuku said. Nizu, sensing a fight about to break out, ended the meeting. "Well, thank you for your time, Izuku. You're free to go," Nizu said. "Thanks, Nizu. See you later," Izuku said as he walked out the door. Izuku walked down the hallway and then out of the building, but as he was walking he ran into 𝗵𝗃. "Izuku," she shouted as she ran towards him and hugged him. Izuku raised his hands up to return the hug but hesitated once again and put his hands back down. "You're so reckless," 𝗵𝗃 said as she broke the hug and hit his chest but then hugged him again. "I'm just glad you're okay," 𝗵𝗃 said. "Yeah, it's gonna take a lot more than that to kill me," Izuku said. After the incident at the sports festival, school was cancelled for another week and Izuku took that week to take anyone who wanted to train except his tormentors. Surprisingly, most of the class wanted to train because they wanted to get stronger in case something like that happened again. After the week of training in which Izuku ran everyone into the ground, but Izuku was right there with them training. Of course it didn't really do much to him, but for the rest of the class they saw it as Izuku respected them enough to go through what they were. Now since the week is over we see everyone in class 1 waiting for Aizawa. "Mathaf gave me SHT for running late. Now he's not even here," but Izuku thought. As Izuku thought that the rest of the class is talking to themselves while Izuku is leaning on a wall with his eyes closed. While a certain few were thinking something. "Alright, I think I have a way to get Izuku back," Izumi said. "What did you think of?" Katsumi asked. "Work marriage that way he'll have to come back," Izumi said. "Couldn't he just say no?" Shoka asked. "Yeah, there's nothing stopping him from that considering he's an adult. He doesn't have to listen to his parents," Ochako said. "No, trust me guys, it'll work. You see, Izuku really loves us, he just doesn't know how to act around us right now," Izumi said. "Someone's drunk and it's not Izuku." "Wait, really? Oh, how silly of him. He knows he can act normal around us," Katsumi said. "Oh, I'm so glad he doesn't actually hate us. We'll have to talk to him after class," Shoka said. "And after that we can get married," Ochako said. Now since Izuku has great hearing and they weren't exactly quiet, he heard them and tried to hold in his laugh. "So that's what they think. Oh my god, they're being delusional," Izuku thought. The door to the class opened and Aizawa walked, shutting the class up while he went to the podium. "Alright, you're getting better at this, good job and problem child." Waking up, Aizawa said. Don't be late next time, Hobo Izuku said. The class used to this by now were able to hold in their laughter. As Aizawa continues what he was saying. Alright, since the sports festival was cancelled early cause if the villain attack, not many offers were able to come in, but it's still quite a few, and if you're a student who didn't get one, you'll be able to choose from 40 different agencies approved by UA. Here are the internships now, Aizawa said as he clicked a button on a remote, pulling up the screen. Shoto Todoroki 2000 Katsuki Bakugo 1900 Tenya Ida 900 Fumikage Tokoyami 800 Mizo Shoji 800 Mishiro Ojiro 600. Now, if you don't see your name on the board, you didn't get an offer. Like I said earlier, you can choose from different agencies. UA has approved those he did get one. Have your choice in by this weekend. Class dismissed, Aizawa said. As Class 1 was walking out of the door, Izuku's ring started to go off, being very loud. Everyone turned to Izuku to see him in a weird outfit. His outfit was black on the sides and green in the front, being black in the back with a strange symbol on the front of it and a mask covering his eyes. Of course, the outfit was skin-tight, leaving little to the imagination. Aizawa gotta go emergency. Sorry about this, Izuku said as he flew out through the roof. DMN problem child, but he wouldn't have done it unless it was important, Aizawa said. He looked towards the class, seeing them in utter shock of what just happened. Alright, enough gawking. Class dismissed. Go on, leave, Aizawa said. Wonder what had him so spooked though, Aizawa thought. Izuku was flying at high speeds away from you, up into the atmosphere until he broke through it and was in space. Alright, now where are you? Izuku said, looking around. Now, since space is an endless void with no air or sound, Izuku didn't hear anyone coming up behind him, kicking him in the back. Izuku used the momentum of being kicked to spin around and make a construct of a large hammer and swung it, hitting the man, sending him flying away. Izuku flew after him, knowing he didn't hit him that hard, and found him near the moon, still spinning. Izuku grabbed the person and slammed him into the moon. Wait, alright, calm down, you win, the person said. Tell me why you keep attacking this place, he asked. Alright, well, my name is Alan, I work for the Coalition of Planets. Your planet agreed to be attacked to test its defenses. See, I have the order right here, Alan said as he brought out a tablet. Izuku looked at the tables that said Ureth instead of Earth. Oh, you've gotta be kidding me, Izuku thought. You've got the wrong planet, this is Earth, not Ureth, Izuku said. Wait, this is Earth, Alan asked. Yes, Izuku said. Oh, I'm so gonna get fired for this. Well, sorry for attacking you, but I gotta go. See ya, Alan said, flying away. Can't believe it, man had the wrong planet, Izuku said as he flew back to Earth. Good, my son, you have grown as a fighter. I'm proud, Izuku's father thought as he watched the whole thing. Izuku landed back at outside the dorms and got rid of his hero suit and walked inside, seeing everyone gone but his tormentors. What do you guys want? I told you to leave me alone, Izuku said. We know you don't really mean that, big brother, Izumi said. Yeah, we know you really care about us, Katsumi said. No, I don't. Now get the F out of my way, Izuku said. Don't talk to your sister like that, young man, All Might said. You don't tell me what to do, you aren't even my real father, you piece of shit faker, Izuku said. What, how did you find out? All Might asked. Wait, Inko didn't tell you? Oh, looks like she's keeping secrets from you, Izuku said with a smile. All Might looked towards Inko with a betrayed look on his face as she looked away. Wait, so you mean you're not my brother? Izumi said. That's right, you were never my sister, and you never will be, cause I never saw you as one, Izuku said. What did you see me as then? Izumi asked. A spoiled brat who thought everything was hers and a bitch who bullied kids she saw as weaker than her with her ret dead friend group, Izuku said as he walked past them and went to his room, slamming the door shut, leaving the family to just stand there dumbfounded and sad. Izuku is seen seeing Class 1 off along with Aizawa. The weekend has ended and now it was time for internships. Alright, remember, be on your best behavior, listen to what your instructor says, if not they'll send you right back here. Now get going, Aizawa said. Ida, can I talk to you for a second? Izuku said as he waved Ida over. Sure, Ida said as he and Izuku broke off from everyone else. So what do you want to talk about? Ida asked. I know what you're going to do, I know your plan, Izuku said. What plan? I don't know what you're talking about, Izuku, Ida said. Ida, I'm not an idiot, I know you're gonna go after Stain, I'm telling you, not you, Izuku said. I'm not gonna go after Stain, Ida said. I don't bullshit me, Izuku shouted. Ida just looked away, not saying anything. Look, I'm telling you right now, don't you'll just get yourself killed, Izuku said. But I have to, he crippled my brother Tensei, Ida said. If he beat 𝗬𝗂𝗧𝗵𝗲, what makes you think you can beat him? Think 𝗧𝗲𝗏, think use that head of yours, damn it, you know as well as I do that fight will be unwinnable, Izuku said. 𝗧𝗏𝗏 just turned his back on Izuku and started walking away but stopped when Izuku spoke to him. If you want your revenge so goddamn badly, then you better go after 𝗧𝗍 with intent to kill, otherwise you'll end up worse than your brother, Izuku said as he flew away. 𝗧𝗏𝗏 turned around to talk to Izuku only to find him gone, so he boarded the train headed for Hosu intent on getting revenge. Days passed and 𝗧𝗏𝗏 wasn't closer to finding 𝗧𝗍 and his internship was almost up. Then he saw fire and 𝗵𝗃 bursted into his room saying get his suit on and meet him outside. 𝗧𝗏𝗏 did as he was told and was running with 𝗵𝗃 until he felt something tell him that he should go down this alleyway. So he broke off from 𝗵𝗃 and sped down the alleyway. He reached the end of the alleyway finding 𝗧𝗍 about to kill the pro-hero native, so 𝗧𝗏𝗏, hellbent on revenge, charged at 𝗧𝗍, but 𝗧𝗍 blocked 𝗧𝗏𝗏's attack and sliced his arm, liking the BLD, paralyzing 𝗧𝗏𝗏. Well, what do we have here? 𝗧𝗍 said. 𝗧𝗍 shouted. Oh, so you know my name, but that still begs the question, why are you here? 𝗧𝗍 said. I'm here to get revenge for my brother, 𝗧𝗏𝗏 said. Go away, I don't kill kids, 𝗧𝗍 said. Don't look down on me, I will have my revenge, 𝗧𝗏𝗏 said. So you're a hero in training and you're only focused on revenge, you're a fake like all the others, 𝗧𝗏𝗏 said. What are you talking about? 𝗧𝗏𝗏 asked. You were so caught up in your revenge that you failed to notice the man I'm about to kill. You see, if you wanted to be a hero you would have saved him, but you're a fake and you have to die, so hero society will no longer be fake, don't take it personally, 𝗧𝗍 said. He started to bring his blade down about to stab 𝗧𝗏𝗏, but a green blur flew past him and punched 𝗧𝗍 in the face. 𝗧𝗍 went flying back and hit the ground hard. He got up and looked at who did it when 𝗧𝗏𝗏 shouted. Izumi, get out of here, this is my fight, 𝗧𝗏𝗏 shouted. Ah, so another brat has come here to die, I see. Well, it'll just make my job easier getting rid of 2 parasites before they have a chance to grow, 𝗧𝗍 said. I won't let you touch them, Izumi said. We'll see, 𝗧𝗍 said as he charged forward. Back with Izuku, he was flying through 𝗵𝘃𝗲 on patrol when his ring talks to him. Hosu city under attack, head there now, the ring said to him. Great, well, might as well check on 𝗧𝗏𝗏 as well, Izuku thought. Izuku flew towards Hosu, breaking the sound barrier, getting there in a matter of seconds, and saw the chaos and destruction in the city. As he was looking, he saw a couple about to be killed by a Nomu, so he flew down and punched it, sending flying back. Get out of here, you two, I'll handle this, Izuku said. The couple nodded and ran off as Izuku turned around and saw the Nomu getting back up. This'll be easy, Izuku thought as he made a construct of a giant hammer and smashed the Nomu, destroying the brain, killing it instantly. These Nomu are weaker than the one at the USJ, the other heroes can handle this, gotta find 𝗧𝗏𝗏, Izuku thought. So Izuku took to the skies again until he heard his phone beep. He looked at his phone and saw a pin from Shoto, so he immediately flew in that direction. When he got there, he saw 𝗧𝗏𝗏 on the ground, his sister with cuts all over her body and Shoto with a sword through his gut. Izuku, seeing this, became enraged with his green ring flickering to red but back to green as he got his emotions under check. He flew forward towards 𝗧𝗍 and slammed him into a wall, making a dent. It keeps going on and on with you hero wannabe, 𝗧𝗍 said as he got up. 𝗧𝗏𝗏, I told you what would happen if you did this, but you didn't listen, now you got others hurt. I'll deal with you later, Izuku said. You won't be able to deal with him cause you're gonna die along with your friends, 𝗧𝗍 said. Let me get one thing clear, the only one I'd be fine with you killing is her, Izuku said, pointing towards Izumi. Again, another fake hero wanting fame and glory, 𝗧𝗍 said. Izuku, hearing this, just laughed. Who said I was a hero? Izuku said as within a second he was in front of 𝗧𝗍 with his hand through his chest. Your reign of terror won't end here, all your followers will join Shigaraki and after that I'll kill all of them too, Izuku said as he removed his hand from 𝗧𝗍's chest. 𝗧𝗍 dropped to the ground, dead BLD pouring out from the hole in his chest as Izuku picked everyone up with constructs from his lantern ring and carried him out the alleyway. When he exited, a bunch of pro-heroes arrived and saw him carrying the bodies of 3 people. Hey, these 3 need medical help, Izuku said. Where's 𝗧𝗍? A pro-hero asked. Dead in the alley, now get an ambulance or these kids are gonna die, Izuku said. One of the pro-heroes called an ambulance as another asked how 𝗧𝗍 died. So how is 𝗧𝗍 dead? Easy, I killed him, Izuku said. What, how could you? That was a person, another pro-hero said. Easy, I punched a hole in his chest, killing him, Izuku said blankly. But he needed to face justice for what he did. I know, and he did by my hand literally, Izuku said. But there was another way to solve the problem. I know, and I don't care, Izuku said as he was getting ready to fly away, seeing the ambulance arrived. Good to see you again, grandson, Gran Torino said. Likewise, old man, Izuku said as he flew away back to Mustafa. After Izuku had killed Stain, the entire incident was put on the news about what he did. Most people were mad that a hero killed a person, which is kind of dumb considering a villain wouldn't think twice about killing a hero. But then again, Izuku didn't really care if people were mad at him. It's not like they can do anything to him in the first place. So Izuku just spent the weekend chilling in his dorm or working out. But one thing he hated doing was having to talk to his old tormentors. Every day at least one of them would knock on his door begging for forgiveness. Each time he wouldn't say a thing, just shut the door in their face and go back to sleep. Now we tune into Izuku as he is heading into Aizawa's class, albeit about 45 minutes late. So class final exams are coming up in about 2 weeks, and once that's done, if you pass, we will be going to a summer training camp for the last week, Aizawa said as the door to his classroom opened. Everyone turned to see Izuku standing in the doorway. What? He asked. You're late, Aizawa said. Izuku looks at the clock and sees what time it is. I guess I am anyways. You 𝗧𝗵𝗲 are gonna be training with me for your final exams, then do whatever the hell after. I don't give a 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗲 where we normally meet up after class, and this time it's all of you instead of being separated. See ya. Izuku said as he walked out the door. Everyone started at the door in silence for a moment before Kirishima spoke. Sir, what just happened? Kirishima asked. I have no clue, Aizawa said. So after that little incident, class continued till the bell rang, signaling everyone to go to Gym Gamma. Everyone who Izuku didn't hate walked into the gym, but oddly didn't see Izuku there at all. Anyone know where Izuku is? 𝗵𝗃 asked. All of a sudden 𝗵𝗃 went flying back, slamming into the wall. Mina turned around quickly but didn't see anything as she was flung to the side, knocking her unconscious. Well, that's 2 down before you realized what even happened, Izuku said. All of them turned around to see Izuku standing behind them with his arms crossed. Why the hell did you do that? Izuku Bakugo asked. Because for the next 2 weeks this is how we're gonna train, all of you versus me. Don't worry, I will go easy on you, Izuku said. But we outnumber you, Toru said. Izuku put his hand up to his chin. You're right, let me fix that, Izuku said as he used his ring to spawn in clones. You just had to say something, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 bitch, Bakugo said. Now the question is, do you want my constructs to use my ring or no, Izuku said. If you get this reference, good for you. After hearing that, everyone felt a wave of fear wash over them as the clones started to charge. It was an absolute slaughter for the students. Izuku clones only posseed a 1/100th of his strength, yet they still got their butts kicked. The only ones left standing were Bakugo, Kirishima, Shoto and Ida. Seeing them still standing, albeit hurt pretty badly, impressed Izuku. You 4 did pretty well. You 4 will be ready for the combat part of the final exam, Izuku said. Hearing this, the 4 smiled and then collapsed due to their injuries. RG is gonna be so said. Oh well, not like she can hurt me anyways, Izuku said as he used his ring to pick up all the students and take them to her office. When he got there, RG was furious with Izuku and told him to put them on the bed. He did so, then left, heading back to the dorms so he could hopefully get some sleep. You didn't go hard enough of those kids, a voice said that sent a chill down Izuku's spine. He quickly composed himself before speaking. Well, I didn't want to kill them, so I think I did all right, Izuku said. I don't get why you didn't. You killed Stain, the voice said. Yeah, I made him a stain on my hand, and I'll make you one too if you don't report back to that purple TSTCL. That Earth is under my protection, Izuku said. Yes, we know it is, and so does your father. Question is, can you beat both us, the voice said. Well, last I checked I wiped out most of the Yellow Lantern Corps. I won't hesitate to wipe you all out. Now leave, report back to Sinestro that if he comes I won't hesitate to kill him, Izuku said as the figure flies off. Izuku let out a breath of relief, but unknown to him, a certain someone was listening in. So he walked back to his dorm, opened the door and plopped down on the bed, having a restless night of sleep. 2 weeks passed in an instant and it was time for final exams. Over the 2 weeks, those who didn't beat one of Izuku's clones on the first day had to keep fighting one of them till they won, and the only person that didn't pass was Toru, cause all she can do is go invisible, that's it. So after that total failure of a hero, the exams came and went with most of the students passing while Toru, Izumi and Ochako failed. The 3 felt depressed that they didn't pass, but then it was revealed that they were still gonna get to go to the camp but have remedial lessons with Aizawa. I would have been fine with staying home, but they had the month off and they all decided to head to the mall. Even Izuku went cause as he stated he had nothing better to do. So they all split up with Izuku sitting on a bench with his eyes closed. That was until someone sat next to him. "You're the one that killed Stain, big fan, gotta say," a raspy voice said. "Bet you are Shigaraki now that you don't have any competition and a bunch of new recruits in the LOV," Izuku stated. Shigaraki's eyes widened as he did not expect Izuku to know who he is just yet, but quickly regained his composure. "But something keeps bothering me about Stain. Why does he get the spotlight while all my nomus that were there were barely mentioned?" Shigaraki asked. "'Cause Stain had goals and beliefs and wasn't just some whiny brat that throws a fit whenever things don't go his way," Izuku said. "Ah, so that's it. Well, thanks for the info, Izuku," Shigaraki said as he put his hand on Izuku. But nothing happened. "What?" Shigaraki said in surprise. "Oh, forgot to mention that won't work on me," Izuku said. Shigaraki panicked and a purple mist appeared and took him away. All this time Izuku did not even open his eyes. Izuku then pulled out his phone and called Nizu and told him what happened, who then called the police. The police arrived and shut down the mall, questioning Izuku, who answered truthfully and quickly cause he didn't want to be there. After several hours of questioning, which in reality should have taken no more than an hour, he was finally able to leave. As he was walking out of the police station, he heard his mother call out to him. "Izuku, my baby boy, are you okay?" Inko said in a broken voice, evident that she had been crying. Izuku said nothing as he just flew away back to his room so he could try and get some rest, however little it may be. As he landed in front of the building, he saw his sister outside on the steps. "We need to talk, Izuku," Izumi said. "No, we don't," Izuku said as he started to walk past her. "Why did you do that to Mom? She was worried about you," Izumi asked. "'Cause she's not my mom and I don't give a SHT. If she's worried, I can take care of myself. Have been since I was 4, or did you forget about that?" Izuku said. "I did it to protect you," Izumi said. "To protect me? Protect me what?" Izuku said, irritated. "To protect you from being a hero," Izumi said. "If you were worried about me getting hurt, why didn't you, oh, I don't know, ask me instead of beating me?" Izuku shouted. "'Cause I knew your answer would have been no," Izuku shouted back. "If you would have asked me, I wouldn't have pursued the path of becoming a pro hero," Izuku shouted. "Why would you give up your dream like that so easily?" Izumi asked. "Because at the time you were my sister, but not anymore," Izuku said. "Well, I was scared, okay, I didn't want my brother to die like you almost did today," Izumi said. Izuku didn't say anything and just started laughing. "What's so funny?" Izumi asked. "Shigaraki isn't anywhere close to being able to kill me. His quirk won't even work on me," Izuku said. "Why not?" Izumi asked. "Well, if I cared about you then I'd tell you," Izuku said. "Why you like this?" Izumi asked. "Because I hate you," Izuku said. Izumi didn't say anything and just ran inside crying. Izuku didn't care and just went inside, but when he walked in he saw his stepfather waiting for him. "Oh great, it's you. Anyone else waiting, or are you the final one I have to talk to?" Izuku said. "Son, the path you're going down is a dark, it's not too late to turn back," Am said. "Well, when I'm not your son I know who my dad is, and 2, the path I'm on is the only one I'm taking," Izuku said. "But killing is wrong," Am said. "And neglecting a child isn't," Izuku retorted. "There's other ways of taking criminals down, you don't have to kill them," Am said. "You're right, there is, but killing them is the most effective," Izuku said. "But why kill? How can you take another person's life like that?" Am said. "Because if the tables were turned they wouldn't hesitate to kill me," Izuku said. "But there are still other ways that you can take that doesn't end in someone's death," Am said. "That's the difference between me and you, Toshi. You see, when you put them down they get back, when I put them down they stay down. Not being able to get back up and hurt people again," Izuku said. Them let out a sigh and pinched the bridge of his nose. "I guess there's no stopping you, is there?" Am said. "Yup, but it's not like you could anyway," Izuku said. "Well, during the break we're heading to Island. You're welcome to join us if you want, but knowing how you feel about us I already know the answer to that question," Am said. He then walked away. "He is acting like he knows me," Izuku said as he entered his room and slammed the door shut. "That bastard never cared about me, now tries to act like he knows me," Izuku said, getting more angry. "That Izuku shouted and he punched a hole through his wall which shook the whole building. "What the F did that?" Kirishima shouted. "Sorry, that was me, go back to sleep," Izuku said. Deep breaths. "Izuku, don't let your anger control you or else it will lead to a never-ending cycle of hate," Izuku said as he calmed down and laid down on his bed. Not even a minute into him closing his eyes, he heard a knock on his door. "Oh, what is it now?" Izuku said as he opened his door and saw 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 standing there. "𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏, what are you doing here?" Izuku questioned. "I wanted to check up on you, but by the sound of it maybe I should have someone check the building instead," 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 joked. "Sorry, I've just not had a good day," Izuku said. "Yeah, I heard about Shigaraki. Are you okay?" 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 asked. "Yeah, he tried to use his quirk on me," Izuku said. "What, how are you not dead?" 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 asked. "'Cause I've been blown up by a star that was 27,000 degrees and came out fine," Izuku said. "What, how did you survive that?" 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 asked. "I'm built different," Izuku said. "Well, tell me about that later, 'cause we have a lot of catching up to do, it seems," 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said. "Yeah, I'll tell you after summer camp's over," Izuku said. "Why that long?" 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 asked. "'Cause that's when I feel like talking about it," Izuku said. "No other reason?" 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 asked. "Nope," Izuku said. "Because plot, well, good night," 𝗂𝗃𝗃 said. "I don't need to walk you back to your dorm, do I?" Izuku asked. "Ah, you're so sweet, but no, I can take care of myself," 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said. "Oh well, in that case, good night, 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏," Izuku said as he closed the door. Island, the most advanced place on Earth. What a wonder it was, a movable island with the world's top scientists working on things ranging from support items to furthering the understating of quirks. Izumi and her parents are in their way to Island right now, heading on a private jet to the island. But no one cares about them. Let's head on over to Izuku a day beforehand. "So tell me again why you guys are going?" Izuku asked. "Well, I'm going to represent my family," Ida said. "Nerd," Izuku said. "Says the one that got him a rock from space," Bakugo said. "Touché. Okay, what about you two Reds then?" Izuku asked. "I'm going there with my family and bringing Bakugo along with me," Todoroki said. "Oh, I can only see that going well," Izuku said. "The hell is that supposed to mean?" Bakugo said. "Just make sure to keep your sister on a tight leash, okay? Don't need her blowing up the park," Izuku said. "Knowing her, she'll think she's better than everyone, but I'll try my best," Bakugo said. "Alright, we'll have fun fuckered, see you when you get back," Izuku said. Now we go back to Izumi and her family as they land on the island. The plane landed and the family got off the plane. Once they got off, they were immediately surrounded by fans and took them about an hour to get away. After they got away, they headed to a park overlooking the water. "The view looks appealing this time of day," Am said. "Yeah, I'm glad we could enjoy it," Inko said. Izumi said nothing and just stared out into the sea. As the family stared out to the sea, they heard what sounded like a pogo stick headed towards them. "Uncle Might?" Melissa shouted as she jumped off her pogo stick into her uncle's arms. Young Melissa, how are you?" Am said. "I'm good. Is it true that Izuku's back? Where is he?" she asked. Izuku didn't want to come," Inko said. "Well, why not? Doesn't he know it's been forever since I've last seen him?" Melissa said. "Izuku's going through some things right now, sweetie. Maybe another time," Inko said. Okay, well, I guess I'll take you to my dad now. Follow me," Melissa said. As they were walking away, Izumi texted Izuku. Now you may be wondering how she got his number. Well, let me explain in the shortest way possible. She took his phone when he wasn't looking and put her number in his and his number in hers. There you go. "Hey, we just met up with Melissa. She said she misses you. You really should have come." "Hey, disappointment of a sister. I'll go visit her when you failures of society aren't there. Now I'm blocking you. F off." Izumi, seeing that, just sighed and put her phone away. So the family met up with David and caught up with him. But as they were talking, Am coughed and David told Izumi and Melissa to leave. Both girls left and Am powered down, thanking David for noticing the signs. "So how much time do you have left?" David asked. "About an hour and a half," Am said. "So it's gotten pretty bad, huh? Do you mind if I run some tests?" David asked. "Sure, go right ahead, Inko. Can you wait here for me?" Am asked. "Sure, I'll stay here," she said. Back with Melissa and Izumi, they're looking at cool inventions. Well, more like Melissa is Izumi is hesitant to tell her the truth. "Oh, is this can give you a 360 view of yourself," Melissa said as she shoved the helmet on Izumi. Melissa, can I tell you something?" Izumi said. "Sure, what is it?" Melissa said. "Well, the truth is that Izuku wasn't kidnapped, he ran away," Izuku said. "What, why would he run away?" Melissa asked. "'Cause our parents neglected him and my friends and I beat him every day," Izumi said. "What, how could you do that to him?" Melissa said. "'Cause I was scared he would get killed if he became a hero, so we thought making him scared if quirks would make him give up," Izumi said. "You are unbelievable, so you're the reason why he didn't come. You know what, don't talk to me till the expo. By Izumi," Melissa said. With that, Melissa walked away, leaving Izumi alone. A few hours later it was time for the expo and Melissa was waiting in the lobby for Izumi and her friends who she knew were there. After 5 minutes the elevator dinged and out walked Izumi and her friends along with some people from class 1A. "There you guys are, come on, let's go, it's about to start," Melissa said. "Hey Melissa, it's been a while," Shoto said. "Don't talk to me, Shoto, I'm disgusted with you right now," Melissa said. "What did I do?" Shoto asked. "How could you forget what you did to Izuku?" Melissa said. "What, I helped him sane with Bakugo and Ida, and how did you even find out about that?" Shoto asked. "I told her," Izumi said. "And just so happened to forget to mention the fact that we helped him and you didn't," Shoto said. "What, you didn't do that? You hurt him as well," Katsumi said. "No the F we didn't, you know what, I'm texting him right now so he can clear this up," Katsuki said. After Katsuki had sent the text he immediately got a text back. "Well, what does it say?" Melissa asked. "It says that we were the ones to help him and that we're his boys and don't listen to the lying bitch I call a sister over there," Katsuki said. "Prove it," Melissa said. Katsuki said nothing and handed over the phone to Melissa. She read the text then apologized to the three. After that happened all the doors shut and the windows had shutters come over them. "What's going on?" Ida asked. "The security measures kicked in, but why?" Melissa said. "I don't know, but let's go find out," Izumi said. "Let's go find out what's going on," Izumi said. So Izumi and her friends went up above the ballroom to get a look in. When they looked through the glass ceiling they saw all the heroes and party guests restrained while terrorists were patrolling the ballroom. "This is not good," Izumi said. "Back with Izuku, he is currently seen training right now." 999, 1000 Izuku said as he finished his push-ups. As he was about to start the sit-ups the door to the gym opened. Izuku looked up and saw Nizu heading his way. "What it do, Nizu?" Izuku said. "Oh, just wanting to ask some questions," Nizu said. "Well, ask away," Izuku said. "Well, it's been a while since I have seen a lantern ring. I was wondering what's going on with the rest of the Green Lanterns," Nizu asked. "They're dead, all of them wiped out," Izuku said. "What, how they're supposed to be some of the strongest fighters in the universe, how were they wiped out?" Nizu asked panicked. "A war with the yellow, red and orange lantern corps along with the 𝗲𝗏𝗄𝗏𝗔𝗃𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 really I'm half 𝗧𝗵𝗵 that with a power ring and boom, an unstoppable warrior. That's how we won. Well, I wouldn't call it a win considering I'm the only one that survived, Izuku said sadly. What about the blue, indigo, and pink lantern corps? Nizu asked. They were wiped out by my own father, no less, Izuku said. So why is it you're here? Nizu asked. Simple, I'm trying to restart the lantern corps, but not the red one. I'm taking that one with me to the grave, Izuku said. Why is that? Wouldn't it be beneficial to have more lantern corps? Nizu asked. You would think, but there's a dangerous downside to having a red ring. It replaces the user's heart, and if taken off, the user will die, Izuku said. Wait, you said you're taking the red lantern corps to the grave, but you have a green one. How will you take the red ones with you? Nizu asked. Oh Nizu, where would be the fun in telling you? A good magician never reveals his tricks, Izuku said jokingly. Hearing this, Nizu smiled. I guess so, Izuku, just don't do anything too stupid, Nizu said. No promises, Izuku said as he waved to the mouse who was walking away. Wondering how everyone's doing at Island, Izuku thought. So what's the plan? Shinso asked. We make it to the top of the tower and turn the security system back to our side, Katsuki said. After that we can call Izuku and he'll be here to help finish the villains off, Shoto said. That's smart considering our phones are jammed right now, Ida said. Pardon the interruption, but what exactly would Izuku do? He's quirkless, Melissa asked, confused. Oh, you have no idea the hell Izuku's gonna raise when he gets here, Katsuki said. Well, come on, let's get moving, Kirishima said. So the kids started making their way throughout the facility, making it all the way to the 79th floor before running into problems. Hide in the bushes now, Katsuki said. At his word, everyone hid in the bushes and waited. What's the plan? Shoto asked. Wait for those guys to get close enough, then me and you will ambush them when they get close, Katsuki said. As the two villains got right next to the bush, Shoto and Katsuki jumped out and started to attack, with Katsuki launching an explosion at the guy on the left and Shoto shooting fire to the guy on the right. You guys get going, we got them, Katsuki said. As he said that, however, the guy he blew up came charging at him ready to kill him, but his attack was blocked by Kirishima taking the attack. You should really pay attention when you're fighting, that Izuku's #1 rule, Kirishima said. Shut up and help me kick their butts, Katsuki said. The rest of the group started heading to the 200th floor but got stopped on the 120th by the robots, which 𝗵𝗃 tried to disable them with an output of 1 million volts, not his max cause. He didn't want to turn stupid. It was a good thing he didn't because the robots weren't affected and a fight broke out which resulted in the heroes winning and continuing their journey. At the 170th floor the group split up again, the majority staying to hold off the robots while 𝗧𝗵𝗲, 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏 and Melissa continued to the 200th floor. After coming outside to the turbine area, 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏 used her quirk to send 𝗧𝗵𝗲 and Melissa to the top. But she got ambushed by robots on the way which were stopped to the trio of boys from the 70th floor returning to help out. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 and Melissa made it up to where they needed to be, but as they were going there they heard voices coming from the vault. Same thing happens that does in the movie, just replace Izuku with his dumbass sister. Let's just go to the rooftop fight. Bring him back, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 yelled as she watched the helicopter get further and further away. All of a sudden 𝗧𝗵𝗲 felt a gush of wind push her down and then the helicopter exploded. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 felt dread as she watched the burning wreckage tumble down but was relieved when she saw her father carrying David down to them. "I got him, don't worry," 𝗬𝗵 said. "I'm sorry, this is all my fault," David said. "Don't worry about that right now, just rest, we'll take the rest from here," 𝗬𝗵 said. "Dad, I think you got him," 𝗧𝗵𝗲 said. "I didn't, so be prepared," 𝗬𝗵 said. Right after he said that, all of the metal and wreckage from the burning helicopter started going to the end of the helipad. "Oh, I'm so gonna kill you, symbol of peace," 𝗬𝗏𝗃 said. "Try as you might, good will always prevail," 𝗬𝗵 said. Yeah, whatever you say," 𝗬𝗏𝗃 said as he grabbed 𝗬𝗵 with metal, but 𝗬𝗵 broke out of it and started charging him. 𝗬𝗏𝗃 kept sending more and more metal boxes at 𝗬𝗵, but 𝗬𝗵 just kept punching through them with ease. "Alright, how about this?" 𝗬𝗏𝗃 said. 𝗬𝗏𝗃 then collected all the metal on the roof and dropped it on top of 𝗬𝗵. "Wow, symbol of peace, but he was that easy to beat," 𝗬𝗏𝗃 said. "Don't talk about my dad like that," 𝗧𝗵𝗲 said as she tried to punch 𝗬𝗏𝗃 in the face. 𝗬𝗏𝗃 dodged and just backhanded 𝗧𝗵𝗲 away. "Sit down, the adults are talking," 𝗬𝗏𝗃 said. After 𝗬𝗏𝗃 said that he was hit by the metal box he had created earlier. "Oh, so you're not dead after all, this'll be interesting then," 𝗬𝗏𝗃 said. 𝗬𝗵 charged at 𝗬𝗏𝗃 once again as 𝗬𝗏𝗃 began to throw more and more sharp pieces of metal at him. 𝗬𝗵 countered by either dodging or punching them when they got too close. However, he didn't see one coming until it was too late and couldn't dodge or block it in time. However, he was saved as Katsuki came in and blew it up. "Keep going, we got it from here," he shouted. 𝗬𝗵 continued. He advanced and jumped up to punch 𝗬𝗏𝗃 in the face but was caught in 𝗬𝗏𝗃's trap and was now wrapped up in metal wires. "Now I get to kill the symbol of peace," 𝗬𝗏𝗃 said. 𝗬𝗏𝗃 then manipulated the metal around him and put 𝗬𝗵 in a box, then stabbed the box multiple times. "Uncle might," Melissa shouted. "Oh yeah, you're David's brat, might as well kill you," 𝗬𝗏𝗃 said as he sent metal towards Melissa. Melissa closed her eyes preparing for the impact, but all she heard was a clang. Melissa opened her eyes and saw she was in a red cube. "Oi, who the hell said you could hurt my cousin?" Izuku said. Everyone present looked up to the sky and saw Izuku, but something was different. Last time they saw Izuku in his hero costume it was green, but now it was red. "Izuku," Melissa stuttered out. Izuku didn't say anything, instead put everyone else that was on the roof in a similar red cube. "Oh, and who are you?" 𝗬𝗏𝗃 said. "The man that's gonna kill you," Izuku said. "Ha, you're gonna kill, please? The day a skittle kills me is the day will I guess I'll die," 𝗬𝗏𝗃 said. "So those are your final words, so be it," Izuku said. Izuku, faster than the eye could see, flew towards 𝗬𝗏𝗃 and pulled him out of his metal contraption and slammed his head on the ground, making it skid across the ground as he kept flying. He then picked him up and slammed him on the ground again and again till all that was left was a bloody mess. But 𝗬𝗏𝗃 was still breathing weakly. "Why didn't you kill me?" 𝗬𝗏𝗃 asked. "'Cause I don't want to scar my cousin," Izuku said as he dropped 𝗬𝗏𝗃 on the ground and bound him with his ring, leaving him there for the authorities. Izuku then released the boxes around everyone and was immediately brought into a bone-crushing hug as Melissa had sprinted towards him the second her box was gone. "What happened to you, Izuku?" Melissa said as she took a good look at him. "I grew up, Mel, you still building SHT?" Izuku said. Melissa then punched Izuku in the chest. "You did more than grow up, we have a lot of catching up to do and you're not gonna protest," Melissa said. "Fine, but can we do it later? We still need to fix this situation," Izuku said. "Oh, alright, but right after you come to me, understand?" Melissa said. Yeah, whatever you say, Izuku said as he walked away waving his hand dismissively. Izuku walked up to David and sat down next to him. Is AM alright? David asked. Yeah, he's fine, they're taking him out on a stretcher now, Izuku said. I fed up, didn't I, nephew? David asked. Yeah, you did, uncle, but it was for a good cause. I may hate the 𝗧𝗵𝗲, but Japan still needs him for right now, Izuku said. Do you think Melissa's mad at me? David asked weakly. No, once she's find out the reason, she'll forgive you, Izuku said. Yeah, but at that point I'll be in prison, I won't get to see her grow up anymore, David said sadly with tears brimming his eyes. Nah, you'll be fine, the government owes me a favor anyway, Izuku said. That sounds like you've been busy these past 10 years, huh? David said. Like you wouldn't believe, uncle, Izuku said. Will I be able to defend this world, or will I watch as it burn around me? Izuku thought. It had been weeks since the Island incident, and Izuku still remembers the conversation he had with Melissa. Let's just say it wasn't a pleasant one for him. Well, I guess it's time for catching up now, isn't it? Izuku asked nervously. Yeah, and you've got a lot of explaining to do, Melissa said sternly. Fine, where do you want me to start? Izuku said. Well, what happened after you ran away? Melissa asked. Well, I was in the forest, and these rings came to me, said my name, and said I was their user, then combined into one, Izuku asked. So that's where your power comes from, Melissa concluded. Well, part of it, yeah, Izuku said. What do you mean part of it? Melissa questioned. What I'm about to tell you, I don't want you to tell anyone else, not even David, Izuku said. Must be pretty serious, Melissa said. It is the only other person who knows is Nizu, and that's it, Izuku said. All right, I promise I won't tell anyone else, Melissa said. I'm not a 100% human male, Izuku said. What, how can that be possible? Melissa asked. Simple, my dad's an alien and he met my mom, and well, you know how babies are made, then I popped out, Izuku said. Melissa didn't say anything, instead just looked at Izuku. Speechless, I know, but just wait till you learned how I met my dad, that'll make your head spin, Izuku remarked. Izuku, are you okay? Melissa asked. Ain't that the $1,000,000 question, am I okay? Who knows, Izuku said. Izuku, how does your ring work and why is it green? Melissa asked. It's called a power ring used by the lantern cores that make light constructs by using your imagination, Izuku said. And what happened to these lantern cores? Melissa asked. As far as I know, they are all wiped out and I'm the last one standing, Izuku said. Sorry to hear that, Melissa said. It's alright, I've accepted, I'm one of the last ones. Well, one of the last ones that use them for good anyway, Izuku said. What do you mean by that? Melissa asked. There's still one lantern core that's semi-operational, and that's the yellow lantern core. They use fear to power their rings, and they ain't the nicest people, Izuku said. And you're supposed to fight them, Izuku. You'll be killed, Melissa said. No, I won't, I'm half alien, and the half part is so pure that it makes me almost full bullied, Izuku said. So I guess you're gonna be one tough cookie to crack, huh? Melissa joked. Hey, I guess I am, Izuku said. You know, it was nice to see you again, Mel, Izuku said. Likewise, little cousin, Melissa said. Hey, I'm not so little anymore, Izuku said with a smile on his face. That smile quickly vanished, however, when a green power ring floated in front of Melissa. Melissa, shield based on your willpower to overcome much grief. You have been chosen for the Green Lantern Corps, the ring said. Oh, look at that, Izuku, looks like we're heroes together, Melissa said. No, this can't happen, Izuku said. Wait, Izuku, what's wrong? Isn't this a good thing? Melissa asked, confused. Damn it could have been anyone else, but it had to be you, Izuku said. Izuku, what's wrong? Melissa asked, worried. Listen to me very carefully, the previous owner of that ring is dead, you're now the weirder, that means you have a target on your back now. I didn't want this happen, Izuku said. Wait, slow down, why do I have a target on my back? Melissa asked. 'Cause my dad wiped out the Green Lanterns, or so I thought, looks like he just finished up now, Izuku said. But you'll teach me how to use this, right? Melissa asked. Yeah, but you're gonna come with me to the training camp you is having so I can keep an eye on you, Melissa, Izuku said. Okay, Izuku, I trust you to teach me well, Melissa said. I just hope I'll be able to keep you safe from my father, Izuku thought. So that leads us to now, with Izuku laying on top of the bus heading to the training camp. Okay, all I gotta do is teach Melissa how to use the ring, shouldn't be too hard, right? Izuku thought. I mean, not that hard, just use your imagination and bam, there you go, Izuku thought. I didn't expect this to happen, damn it, will I be able to protect her or anyone for that matter, Izuku thought. As Izuku was having his dilemma, the bus stopped and Mineta ran off the bus saying he had to use the bathroom. Guess we stopped, Izuku thought. Izuku hopped off the bus and saw they were at a cliff on the side of the road. He went next to Shoto and asked what was going on. Hey man, what's going on? Izuku asked. Don't know, Aizawa said. We were here, but this doesn't look like a camp, Shoto said. Where's Melissa? Izuku asked. She just got off the bus, Shoto said. Alright, thanks man, Izuku said as he patted him on the shoulder. Izuku walked up to Melissa and whispered into her ear. Be ready cause I'm gonna grab you in a second, Izuku said. But Melissa asked. You'll see, Izuku said. Right after he said that 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏 used her quirk which launched the students right off the cliff. Izuku, seeing this about to happen, grabbed Melissa and flew in the air to avoid this happening. How'd you know that would happen? Melissa asked. Well, I'm still a quirk nerd, gotta know what I'm up against, Izuku said as he landed back on the ground. Hey, you two need to head on down with the rest of them, 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏 said. Can't, I'm a teacher and she's quirkless, just got a new power that's like mine, gonna teach her how to use it, Izuku said. Really, you're a teacher? You look a little young to be teaching, 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏 said. Despite his age, he has more experience than you, 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏, Aizawa said. Aizawa, you can't be serious, he's just a kid, 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏 said. Yet he's been through more than me and you combined, Aizawa said. Even after 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏 started but was cut off. Yes, even after that, Aizawa said sadly. Well, best we get back on the bus. Wanna meet them there, right, Uncle? Izuku asked. Yeah, you riding on the roof again? Aizawa asked. Nah, I'll ride and keep Melissa some company, Izuku said as he and Melissa walked onto the bus. After he got on the bus, Aizawa started to drive towards the camp, but nobody knew the horrors they would face once camp had started. I finally found you, baby brother, someone thought. Alright, Melissa, breath, picture what you want to create and make it, Izuku said. I'm trying, you make it look so easy, Melissa said. That's because I've been doing it for 10 years, I didn't pick it up right off the bat, it took some practice, Izuku said. Well, who taught you then? Melissa asked. His name was Kyle Rayner and he was one of the greatest Green Lanterns to ever exist. He was patient with me and eventually after a few months I've mastered it, which isn't all that hard once you stop freaking out about this, Melissa, Izuku said. I'm sorry, it's just for years I've been powerless, now I have the power to help and I can't use it properly, it's freaking me out, Melissa said. I understand that, truly I do, but the first step to mastering this power is to calm down, start with something small, don't go super big, Izuku said. Something small, okay Melissa, you got this, she said. Melissa then focused on creating a toy car. It took all of her concentration, but eventually she did it. Look, Izuku, I did it, Melissa cheered. Yes, you did, good job, keep practicing that when we're not training and you'll be fine, Izuku said. Ha, that kid makes a good teacher, 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏 said. Yeah, that little kitty sure knows how to reach his students, 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏 said. Well, Izuku always had a way of helping people even if he did it accidentally, but he's all grown up now, I'm proud of him, Aizawa said. Oh, look at this, Aizawa praising someone, don't tell me you're getting soft, 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏 said. What, he's my nephew, I'm allowed to be proud, Aizawa said. Wait, that's your nephew as in the one who went missing 10 years ago, 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏 asked. Yep, came back earlier this year and saved us all at the USJ, if not for him we'd be dead, Aizawa said. Wow, impressive, he took on something that beat 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏 said. As they were talking, most of the students that were earlier sent into the forest came out of it, all battered and bruised. What, you kids are already here? You're earlier than we expected, 𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗏 said. That would be cause of Izuku, he's been training them non-stop except for a few, Aizawa said as he walked towards them. Took you guys long enough, Izuku said jokingly. Shut up, but why don't you go into that forest, Katsuki yelled. Did you forget I could fly? Izuku asked. Shut up, Katsuki said. How you did, dumbass, Izuku said. Shut up, Katsuki said looking away. Hey guys, glad you made it back, Melissa said sweetly. Well, it was tough but not as tough as the training Izuku put us through, Kirishima said. Oh, so that's why the 4 dipshits aren't back yet, Izuku said. You pretty sure they're lost, Shoto said. Well, who cares about them, let's go eat, Izuku said. So, Izuku, Melissa and most of class 1 went to eat lunch, but as they were eating, Melissa noticed a kid just standing around in a corner not doing anything, so being the kind, caring person she is, she went over to talk to him. Hey Izuku, I'm gonna go talk to that kid over there, Melissa said. As she looked over to Izuku, she saw him having a drinking contest with Tiger while all the guys were hyping the up with Ida taking bets. Izuku just stuck his thumb up showing that he heard Melissa. Hey, boys will be boys, Melissa said as she walked away. As she walked towards the boy, he gave her a look of disgust, but she paid it no mind. When she got to the boy, she kneeled down and stuck her hand out. Hi there, my name's Melissa, what's yours? She asked. The boy didn't answer but brought his hand up and turned it into a fist, then swung at Melissa, but before it could connect, a beam of light grabbed the boy by the arm and lifted him in the air. Now that was a pretty dumb move, kid, Izuku said as he walked over. Hey, put me down, the kid said as he struggled. No, 'cause me and you are gonna have a talk, Izuku said as he dragged the kid away. Izuku, aren't you taking this a little far, Melissa said. Nope, 'cause I haven't even hit him, Izuku said as he walked away. The kid continued to struggle until Izuku was far enough away and threw the kid a few feet away. The kid got up and tried to run away, but with only a few words Izuku made the kid stop. Sit your butt down now, Izuku said. The kid complied and quickly sat down. So you're the water hose kid, gotta say your little SHT, Izuku said. The kid said nothing but just glared at Izuku. Wipe that fing glare off your face. You think just 'cause your parents died you can act like a little SHT? News flash, kid, you can't. Oh boo hoo, mommy and daddy died. Man up, don't be a little SHT, otherwise you just be a disappointment to your parents, Izuku said. You wouldn't know what it like for your parents to abandon you, the kid said. Yeah, I do, 'cause you see I'm quirkless, and once my parents heard that they stopped giving a SHT about me, they didn't pay attention to me, didn't feed me, hell, they didn't even buy me clothes. I had to do that all myself. My sister and her friends beat me all because I wanted to be a hero, yet look at me now, I'm a hero. I save people. Sure, I had a shitty childhood, but at least I'm not on my butt crying 'cause oh mommy and daddy left. Your parents were some of the best heroes I've ever seen. It was a tragedy what happened to them, and their killer is still out there. So what are you gonna do, kids? Sit around and cry, or learn to fight so that man doesn't hurt anyone else, and your parents' deaths won't be in vain. Sit here and think about it, Izuku said as he walked away. The kid sat there and thought about what Izuku had said and realized he was being a brat. Izuku had it worse than him, yet he wasn't in but to everyone, and he was quirkless too, yet he was still a hero and saved people. That's when the kid decided he would try to be nicer to people and not look at heroes like he used to. As Izuku walked back to the lodge, everyone was that he felt a familiar presence. You can come out now, Dabi, or should I say Tuya, Izuku said. Well, look at you, sharp senses as always, Toyua said. What is it you want? Izuku asked. Oh, nothing, just wanted to pay my siblings a visit, check up on them, Toyua said. Well, they still think you're dead, Izuku said. Good, keep it that way, or else I'll burn your cousin to ash, Toyua said. You lay one finger on her and I'll kill you, old friend, or not, Izuku said. There's that fiery spirit you've always had, always wanting to protect others, will one day be your downfall, Toyua said. Well, Dabi, guess your family will be seeing you real soon, Izuku said. Yup, once I get my revenge on Endeavor, then who knows what'll happen, Toyua said as he walked away. He's changed, you know, after you died he changed for the better. It's not too late to go back, Izuku said. Yes, it is. He had his chance to be a better dad to me. Now I'll burn his world to the ground, Toyua said. Shoto will stop you, Izuku said. He can try, Toyua said as he disappeared into the woods. Well, this camp is about to be a lot more interesting. Better keep a closer eye on Melissa, Izuku thought as he walked back into the lodge. Alright shitheads, why are you still up? Izuku asked the guys. We're just talking about girls, man, 𝗵𝗃 said. Oh, really? I'm joining in, Izuku said as he hopped out of bed. Alright then, Izuku, what's your type of girl? Kirishima asked. Hey, I mean, as long as they're nice and don't look all that bad, I don't mind giving it a shot, Izuku said. Basic but answer, Shinso said. The F you say dollar store, Aizawa, Izuku said. Hearing this, all the other guys in the cabin started laughing. Anyway, Shinso, since my answer was basic, what's yours? Izuku asked. As long as she accepts me for who I am, I don't care who she is, Shinso said. That has got to be the most emo thing I heard, but also the sweetest, Izuku said. Yeah, like you okay, bro? Kirishima asked. Oh yeah, I'm fine, I'm just glad I get to be here with you guys. You're some of the first friends I've ever had, Shinso said. Oh well, thanks, Shinso, but you know we got your back, right? 𝗵𝗃 said. Just like we know you have ours, Bakugo said. Where the hell did you come from? Izuku asked. Anyway, what about the girls in our class? Kirishima asked. What, is no one gonna point out that Bakugo came from literally nowhere? Izuku said. Well, 𝗧𝗫 ain't that bad looking, she kinda rocks that punk rock vibe, know what I'm saying? 𝗵𝗃 said. Okay, guess not then, Izuku said. Oh, and Mina does that whole disco thing pretty well too and is just adorable, Kirishima said. Yeah, but she and Toru ask a lot of Fing questions, Izuku said. I mean, yeah, they're just curious, especially because you were in Fing space and have a ring that can make anything you think of, Ojiro said. Touché, monkey man, touché, Izuku said. What about you, Bakugo? Kirishima asked. I don't really find any of the girls attractive in our class, he said. Neither do I've just been more focused on training my quirk, Ida said. Understandable, Izuku said as he nodded his head. Shoto, what about you? Izuku asked. Well, Momo seems pretty chill and we work together quite well on our final exam, Shoto said. Oh, speaking of good teamwork, Tokoyami, you and Tsu worked pretty well together. Good job on that, Izuku said. Thank you, Izuku, you make me want to be a better hero, Tokoyami said. You're welcome, didn't know I did that, Izuku said. Yeah, anyway, what are your thoughts on Tsu? Kirishima asked. She's a very hard worker and a good teammate, Tokoyami said. Is that all? Kirishima asked. Yes, Tokoyami replied blankly. Alright then, I think it's time we all go to bed because we have training tomorrow, Izuku said. Everyone agreed, but as they were hopping into bed, Izuku realized something. Wait, can't ड्रियो use her quirk to listen into our conversation? Izuku said. HSHT, everyone shouted. All the boys quickly ran outside and saw ड्रियो crouched next to the wall with her jacks plugged in. I can explain, ड्रियो said nervously. How much did you hear? Izuku asked with a smirk. Not a lot, ड्रियो said. And why we're listening? Izuku asked. To make sure none of you were gonna come and peep at us, Jiro replied. Oh, well, you don't need to worry about that, I'll keep them in line, and if they do it they'll have extra combat training with me, Izuku said. All the guys, even Jiro, started shaking at the thought of it, meaning that there would be no peeping on either side unless they wanna feel Izuku's wrath. Now then, time for us all to go to bed, we need our rest for tomorrow, Izuku said cheerfully as he walked off. Yeah, let's listen before he makes us do extra training, Kirishima said. Agreed, everyone said. So the guys went back to their cabin except Kamanri. He offered to walk Jiro back to her cabin even though it wasn't that far away. Where's Electro Man? Izuku asked. He's walking ड्रियो back to her cabin, Kirishima said. Smooth dude, Izuku said as everyone climbed into the beds and went to sleep. A few days had gone by since everyone arrived. At the camp and training had been underway. Now this training wasn't easy, especially since Izuku was helping to teach everyone. Now for class 1, Izuku's workouts were always hard cause he never worked on their quirks, just their physical and mental fortitude. But at camp they were pushing their quirks to the max and also doing Izuku's workouts, which he had made it about 10 times harder. But for class 1B this was literal hell on earth. Because 1, they had never worked with Izuku before, so they had no idea the type of SHT that class 1 had to do, and 2, Izuku was Fing monster of a trainer. But they all knew he wasn't trying to be a monster, he only wanted what was best for them, and he earned their respect because whatever he put them through he went through it with them. But for him this was a warm-up, but they didn't need to know that. Alright, come on, 1 more mile, then we take a break, Izuku said. Was the response from class 1B. After another mile of running they finally stopped and class 1B collapsed on the ground. While class 1A was just breathing heavily. Alright, I think you guys are done for the day, Izuku said. Are the teachers gonna allow you to do that? Ida asked. Either they do or I kick all their buttes, go and relax, Izuku said. Alright, but if we get in trouble it's on you, Ida said as he and the rest of class 1A and 1B walked off. Welp, it's time for Melissa's training, Izuku thought. Izuku then left the field and started heading to where Melissa was at. You see, since Melissa doesn't have a quirk, she's been helping around the camp, like helping get the ingredients out for when the students cook food or just keeping an eye on Koda whenever Mandali asked her. Now you might be wondering, why isn't Melissa working out with everyone else? Cause Izuku doesn't want her to, not yet at least. You see, it takes a lot of concentration for Melissa to make a construct, and at that point she's mentally drained and Izuku doesn't want to put too much stress on her. Well, that's how Kyle taught him until he realized that Izuku was half 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏. But Melissa isn't, so he has to take it slow and easy. Melissa, you in here? Izuku yelled as he opened the door to the cabin. Yeah, I'm over here, he heard her yell from the kitchen. Izuku then walked over to the kitchen, seeing Melissa prepping ingredients for everyone when dinner rolls around with Koda sitting in the counter. You're here earlier than usual, Melissa said. Well, I gave them the rest of the day off cause they've been working hard these past couple of days and the schedule they give them is just pure bell, Izuku said. How so? Melissa asked. Well, they get up at 5, then warm up at 6, then it's quirk training for 2 hours, then I train them for another 2, then it's lunch which they have to prepare and they only get an hour to eat. Then at 1 it's back to quirks for another 3 hours, then at 4 I get them again for another 3 hours. Then at 7 they have to make dinner for themselves while having no energy. Then after dinner they go to sleep and repeat, Izuku said. Geez, sounds hard, Melissa said. Yeah, anyway, that's why I gave them time off, and this also gives me more time with you. Have you been practicing? Izuku asked. Yup, I'm able to make a tiny car now, but it still requires a lot of focus, Melissa said. That's good, you're making progress, doing better than when I first started, Izuku said. Oh, and how's that? Melissa asked. Let's just say me and Kyle didn't really get off to a good start when we first met, Izuku said. Oh, I bet, especially with that smart but attitude you always have with authority, Melissa said. Yeah, if only I had a better childhood that would teach me to respect authority figures, Izuku said sarcastically. Oh, come on, you know that's now what I meant, Melissa said. I know I'm messing with you, but come on, let's get to training before that dumbass test of courage 𝗵𝘃𝗧𝗏 has planned, Izuku said. Oh yeah, when is that? Melissa asked. In about an hour, so let's hurry up. Come on, kid, you're coming too, Izuku said. What, why is that? 𝗂𝗧 asked. 'Cause 𝗵𝘃𝗧𝗏 told Melissa to watch you, and since that's Melissa's job and she needs to train, she'll have to do both at the same time, so come on, you'll see some cool SHT, Izuku said. 𝗂𝗧, not really having a choice, cause Izuku just grabbed him with his ring before he could protest, dragged 𝗂𝗧 outside. So for the next hour they trained with Izuku giving Melissa a challenge. To be able to shoot out the object she creates. Like how a bullet shoots out of a gun. Melissa tried and tried, but in the end she failed. But Izuku said it was alright because when Kyle taught him that he wasn't able to do it first try either. So the three headed back for dinner, and after that Izuku was gonna scare the SHT out of some kids with the test of courage. But as they were heading back, Izuku smelled smoke and saw gas all around the forest. Something's not right, we need to get back to Izuku was cut off as he grabbed both 𝗂𝗧 and Melissa and moved out of the way as a man covered in muscles attacked him. Oh, you dodged that, you're pretty good for a runt, the man said. Who you calling a runt? I'm taller than you're roided, but Izuku snapped back. When 𝗂𝗧 looked at the man, all he felt was fear, because when 𝗂𝗧 saw his left eye and saw that it was missing, he knew right then and there that this was the man that killed his parents, cause he remembered the new report. It was you, 𝗂𝗧 said. Ha, who the hell are you, kid? The man said. Melissa, seeing that 𝗂𝗧 was shaking uncontrollably, wrapped her arms around him in a protective manner. Oh, I think I know who you are, you're the water hoses brat. The beaths took my eye that always set me off, now I get to have my revenge of their kid, the man said as he rushed forward. Melissa shielded 𝗂𝗧 with her body, but before the man hit her, Izuku grabbed him and threw him into the woods, breaking several trees along the way. Melissa, take the kid and run, I have a feeling that there's more than one around here, so be careful and no matter what don't stop running till you reach Izawa, understand, Izuku said. Melissa could feel the fear coursing through her but said yes to what Izuku said, picking 𝗂𝗧 up and running. Back with Shoto and Katsuki, the two were heading to where they see Tokoyami's dark shadow on a rampage. As they were running, however, they were separated as blue fire was shot in between the two of them. What the hell is this? Katsuki shouted. Bakugo, go on ahead, I'll deal with whoever did this and meet back up with you, Shoto said. Fine, but you better not die icy hot, Katsuki said. As Katsuki was running away, Shoto heard clapping being him. He turned around and what he saw shocked him. Toyua, Shoto muttered out. Oh well, what do you do? Recognize me, dear brother, Toyua said. I thought you were dead, why didn't you come back? Shoto asked. Simple, I hate our dear old dad, but enough chit-chat, it's time we settle this once and for all. Who's better, me or you? Let's find out, Toyua said as he activated his quirk. Shoto then activated his fire side in preparation for what's about to happen. This will be a fight between fire users, two brothers on different sides of the battlefield. So baby brother, show me what you've learned, 𝗬𝗲 said. 𝗬𝗲 then shot flames out toward Shoto, who dodged it by rolling out of the way and then threw flames at him, which 𝗬𝗲 blocked by making a wall of fire. You're gonna have to do better than that, 𝗬𝗲 said smugly as he lowered the wall of fire. But right when he lowered it, Shoto was right there and punched 𝗬𝗲 right in the face. 𝗬𝗲 moved away from Shoto and grabbed his jaw. That's one hell of right you got there, 𝗬𝗲 said. Well, let's just say I've got some training in close quarters, Shoto said. Oh, I know, had a little chat with your buddy Izuku earlier, 𝗬𝗲 said. Wait, he knew you were here? Shoto asked. Oh, I'm guessing he didn't tell you, make you wonder who you can trust, 𝗬𝗲 said. 𝗬𝗲 then shot fire towards Shoto again, but Shoto raised a glacier of ice before the fire could hit him, causing mist to spread. Shoto couldn't see where 𝗬𝗲 was. He looked all around the mist but couldn't see anything. Until 𝗬𝗲 was all of a sudden right next Shoto. Shoto had no time to react as 𝗬𝗲 punched Shoto in the gut, making him fall to his knees. 𝗬𝗲 then grabbed the right side of Shoto's face. Burn, 𝗬𝗲 said as he activated his quirk and started to burn the right side of Shoto's face. Shoto screamed in agony as he felt his flesh being burned away and melting into his skin. 𝗬𝗵𝗿 would have kept going but found his quirk couldn't work anymore. He immediately jumped back, avoiding Izuku's capture scarf. "Looks like you got lucky, baby brother. Next time the hobo won't be around to save you," 𝗬𝗵𝗿 said, then ran into the woods. "Kid, I need to get you back to the center," Izuku said as he picked Shoto up and started running back towards the center where almost everyone else was located. As Izuku was running, he ran into Melissa and Kota. "Melissa, where's Izuku?" Izuku asked. "He's back there fighting a villain. He told me to take Kota and run," Melissa said. "Alright, Izuku will be fine, but you're coming with me right now. My top priority is getting you three back safe," Izuku said. Back with Izuku, he was currently fighting Muscular. Well, I say fighting, more like a one-way but kicking. Cause right now Izuku is holding Muscular in place with his foot. How are you so strong?" Muscular asked as he laid on the ground. "War," Izuku said as he stomped his foot on Muscular's head, making it explode. "Well, now that's over and done with. Time to help the others," Izuku thought. Izuku then flew into the air and started heading towards the gas. As he flew into the gas, however, he felt something prick him. "The hell just tickled me," Izuku thought. "How the F did that guy survive a bullet to the chest?" Mustard thought. Izuku flew in a circle really fast, clearing up all the gas and revealing Mustard standing in the open. But before Izuku could do anything, he saw 𝗧𝗪𝗧 knock him out. "Good job, now you two head back, I'll clear things up from here," Izuku said. Both Kendo and 𝗧𝗪𝗧 agreed and started heading back towards the center. Izuku flew around more until he saw a ragdoll being chased by a Nomu with 4 arms, but the arms were chainsaws. Izuku rushed down and destroyed the thing's brain-saving ragdoll. "Thank you," she said. "Don't worry about it, head to the center. A bunch of students are there and they'll need your help," Izuku said. Ragdoll nodded in agreement and started heading towards the center while Izuku flew in the opposite direction. As Izuku was flying, he heard a loud explosion and went in that direction. When he got there, he saw 𝗬𝗵𝗿 twice, Mr. Compress and Kurogiri surrounding Bakugo and Tokoyami. Izuku immediately landed in between all of them. Now this is private property. What are you all doing here?" Izuku said. "The lantern brat. Ooh, pretty colors," twice said. It's the one who killed 𝗧𝗪𝗍. "Let me at him," Toga said. Well, didn't expect you to be here so soon, kid," 𝗬𝗵𝗿 said. "Yeah, well, here I am, Toyua," Izuku said. "You're a sight for sore eyes," Izuku. Bakugo said. "Yes, you are," Tokoyami said. "Yeah, anyway, have fun, you two," Izuku said. "Wait, what do you mean have fun?" Bakugo shouted, and he and Tokoyami were put into a bubble and thrown towards the center. "That was a dumb move, kid. Now we've got you 5-1, Mr. Compress said arrogantly. "I like those odds," Izuku said. "No, we're leaving. This mission is a failure," Kurogiri said as he teleported everyone away. But not before Izuku slipped a tracker on him. "You guys are no fun," Izuku said as he flew back to the center. When Izuku got back to the center, he walked inside and saw everyone inside mostly okay except for Shoto, who was lying unconscious in a corner with a bandage over his eye. Izuku then went up to Izuku to ask what happened. He was told what 𝗬𝗵𝗿 did that to Shoto, and Izuku felt an immense amount of guilt for his friend. He then asked where Melissa and Kota were, and Izuku pointed him towards the kitchen. Izuku walked into the kitchen where he saw Melissa making food. "I'm surprised to see you making food in a situation like this," Izuku said, startling Melissa. "Izuku's you're okay," Melissa said as she ran up and hugged Izuku. "Yeah, I told you I would be. He was cannon fodder to me," Izuku said. "So does that mean Melissa was cut off?" when Izuku spoke. "Yeah, he is. I made sure of it, had to for the kid," Izuku said. "Well, I may not like it. Sometimes it has to be done," Melissa said. "I don't like it either. In fact, I hate, but it has to be done for the greater good sometime," Izuku said. "Izuku, get out here right now," a voice shouted from outside. Izuku walked outside and saw a man with a purple head and a yellow lantern core suit on. "It's been a while, hasn't it?" 𝗧𝗪𝗏. Behind 𝗧𝗪𝗏 was an army of yellow lanterns, all came for one thing, Izuku's head. There Izuku stood one against many. It's not the first time he's been in a situation like this, nor will it be the last. But this time it was different. Izuku had people to protect this time, and this time he wouldn't fail. "Looks like you're outnumbered, Izuku, 2,000-1. You don't stand a chance," 𝗧𝗪𝗏 said. "Izuku, what's going on?" Melissa asked as she came outside. "Melissa, go back inside now," Izuku said in a serious voice. 𝗧𝗪𝗏 looked over to Melissa and saw a green lantern ring on her finger. Ah, so it looks like there's another Green Lantern still out there, or did you make that one yourself? 𝗧𝗪𝗧 asked. That's none of your business, 𝗧𝗪𝗧. Now I suggest you leave before things get ugly, Izuku said. Oh, the only thing that'll be ugly is your corpse when we're done with it, 𝗧𝗪𝗧 said. 𝗧𝗪𝗧, how many times have we been in this situation? You always have the numerical advantage, albeit never was it this much, but every time you've had me outnumbered I've always won. What makes you think it'll be any different? Izuku said. A lot of times, like you said before, you've never been this outnumbered, and after I kill you I'm gonna kill all these kids. And that other Green Lantern, to 𝗧𝗪𝗧 said as a sinister smirk graced his face. Well, this time I'm not alone, Izuku said as his ring turned black. Wait, how do you have that? 𝗧𝗪𝗧 said, fear evident in his voice. I've always had this, Izuku said, but not with a cocky smirk, but a look of sadness in his eyes as he raised the ring up. The ring began to flow brightly to the point where it flashed, blinding most of the people there for a few seconds. When the light died down, Izuku was no longer alone. We killed all of them, 𝗧𝗪𝗧 said. That you did, however they live on through me, through my Black Lantern ring. Now I'll ask you this one more time, leave or fight, Izuku said with a glare. Well, I guess we'll just have to kill them all again, 𝗧𝗪𝗧 said. Yellow Lanterns, attack, 𝗧𝗪𝗧 shouted. Take him down before he summons them, a Yellow Lantern shouted. But it was already too late. A bright flash of light blinded the Yellow Lanterns and everyone inside for a brief moment before receding. When the light cleared, Izuku was in a Black Lantern outfit, and behind him were thousands of dead Lantern Corps members. Kill the all, 𝗧𝗪𝗧 shouted. Protect the students, don't let them gain, and Izuku barked out his order, and the battle began. From the camp center where everyone was taking shelter in, all they could see was a symphony of lights flashing in the air, the fighters too fast for their eyes to see. Damn it, Bakugo shouted as he punched the wall. Whoa, calm down man, Izuku will be fine, Kirishima said. It's not that we're stuck in here unable to help. Bakugo then fell to his knees. It's just like when we were kids. I have a plan, 𝗵𝗃 said. What you have plan? How'd your brain come up with that? Jiro said jokingly. Now's not the time, noodle ears. What did you think up? Bakugo said. It's a real simple, 𝗵𝗃 said as he took of his support gear. I go out there with a full discharge and fry 'em all. Wait, but won't that turn you stupid? Momo asked. Nah, thanks to Izuku's training I can withstand a lot more than I'm used to. Wait a second, think this through, you'll hurt Izuku as well, Jiro said. No, he won't, Izuku can tank this, Melissa said. Are you sure, Melissa, cause we've only got one chance to help and get out of there, Bakugo said. I'm sure it'll feel like he's being tickled when the electricity hits him. Alright then, 𝗵𝗃, you're up. Remember, once you discharge, run back in here, I'll hold the door open for it, Bakugo said. Got it, 𝗵𝗃 said as he got into a running position. Zero, get ready to grab him when I say so, Bakugo said. Zero nodded and got his elbow ready. Everyone in the room waited in bated silence as Bakugo made his way to the door. Once there, he looked at 𝗵𝗃, who gave him a nod. With that, he flung the door open and 𝗵𝗃 ran outside with Bakugo closing the door behind him so the attack wouldn't hit the students. All my life I've been considered weak and cowardly, and they were right, I was. But then I got into UA. And met Izuku. He taught me that it doesn't matter what my quirk is and how scared I am. As long as I ran into a fight to save someone, that's good enough. I'm sorry I lied to you guys, but I'm not gonna be able to run back after this attack. I'm gonna push past my limits and hit these BSTRDS with everything I got, 𝗵𝗃 thought. 𝗵𝗃 stopped running when he was about 50 feet away from the center. Alright, here we go, no turning back, 𝗵𝗃 said as he took a breath. Discharge 10 million volts. The sky erupted in a flash of light, causing the remaining Yellow Lanterns to collapse and convulse on the ground. Over with Izuku and 𝗧𝗪𝗧, however. You don't tell me that is what I thought it was, Izuku thought. All around him, bodies of the Yellow Lanterns fell to the ground, dead, 𝗧𝗪𝗧 being one of them. As Izuku watched them fall, he realized that he won. After so many years, he was the last man standing. But that realization was quickly replaced with fear, knowing who that attack came from, so he quickly sped off back to the center of the camp. When he got there, he saw Jiro holding on to 𝗵𝗃's lifeless corpse.